was waiting for
welcome
it.
back to another episode of the Infinite Podcast. I think I'm having an audio issue, but that's pretty standard for the Infinite Podcast. Welcome back, guys. How's your week been? Someone say something so I can see if there's an audio issue.
I'm alive.
Something.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Cake.
Yep, definitely having an audio issue.
No. Don't say cake.
Straight in. Give
Can
me
they hear
2
us?
seconds. I'll be back. Talk amongst yourselves.
How good was the
Can
Game
chat.
Awards?
Can
Oh,
chat hear
man.
us?
It was great.
Chat, can you hear us? I'm going to ask it for like the 5th time.
Chat family, can you
Silly.
all hear us speaking? Or let us know if you can't. Gray, I don't know if you can hear me, but yesterday
Yes. Oh, they can hear
Yeah,
us.
we're good.
you
Good,
did not
good.
let
Okay.
me know, Gray, that I could not be heard. Thank you, mod of mine.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Infinite Podcast. For some reason, AV Mux has audio spaz outs if you do anything in any other program. It's been a huge week. Absolutely huge week. We've had the Game Awards happen. There was a Shawn Layden interview. There's rumors of a new Steam console. Very interesting. I wonder how that will work throughout the industry. We're going to talk about all that. But before we do, let me introduce my lovely panel. Infinite, Umbra, the Ascended Gamer, the UE5 aficionado, and authority, the man who demands nothing less than that premium PC gaming experience. Umbra, how's your week been? Welcome back.
Yes. This is the love I need. Sprinkles from heaven above and the Ascended with the PC gaming. Yes. It's been all right, man. I'm still getting over this little cold. It's still got a grip on my magnificent vocals, unfortunately. But yes, I'm being braggadocious. I'm not sorry. But yeah, I'm getting there. I cannot sing though, so you got your wish. This thing has cuckolded my voice. So I need to get you. But other than that, it's been a decent week. Podcasted with Boom, and I had to do a special podcast today because yesterday I podcasted me and Danny, and OBS has shut off our mics. It switched it to default, and it did not catch my Shure mic because of the Shure that I have to set it to, and it does that at times when you get updates and such. And we recorded for like an hour. It wasn't long, at least. And it just did not capture any of that. So it's just silent parts, and you'll hear Danny speak here and there, then me just silent. So I deleted that, and then I asked my brothers, in this case, K Asante, Slow-Mo Backslap, and Lucius Augustus to jump on for a special hour-long discussion today to speak on the games and things like that, which turned out to be about 2 hours. So that was cool. So if you all have not checked that out, check it out on my channel later on or something like that. I'll make sure to post stuff to the timeline and everything like that so you all can check it out. Glad to be here with you guys today. The show was excellent. We'll be talking about all of that, of course, and shout out to the chat.
Absolutely, chat is always awesome. You guys are rocking. Sorry, we're a little bit late. There was no technical issues before the show. We're just shooting the shit, as we do. Blue, the sensible gamer, the introspective brain of the Infinite Podcast. She never slips unless it's BJ Blazkowicz, and is always once, twice, 3 times a lady. Welcome back, Blue. How's your week been?
Hello. It's every time I hear that, I'm like, oh my gosh, what's the next thing he's gonna say? Yeah, it's been kind of a busy week, right? I've been playing a lot of Indiana Jones when DeMarco Dude isn't playing it because he's my brother and we are family and we share games. So, so I have to wait till he's not playing it. I have been playing tons and tons of Indiana Jones and Fallout 76 because there's a new season for Fallout 76, which brought pets to camps. Once you earn them, you have to earn them. And then they started raids. Raids were added to Fallout 76 with this update. It's really big. I haven't done the raid yet. Don't hit that button. I haven't done the raid yet. You need to be quite a bigger level than what my character currently is. I could probably do it with like somebody, with a group that's much like higher leveled than me, but I think it takes quite a bit of time. So I kind of want to wait till I've got a chunk of time. Plus I've been playing the usual Call of Duty because Call of Duty should have won many awards last night. Ironically, Call of Duty was nominated for audio design, and it has the worst freaking audio in any Call of Duty I think I've ever played. Yes, you can't hear footsteps ever.
Yeah.
There's never footsteps. Like
I think that's
footsteps
got
went
to do
from
with
sometimes a problem. Shut up. From sometimes a problem to absolutely non-existent. They are
the
not there,
skill
and they
issue.
even have that perk that's the audio like upgrader for you to be able to hear footsteps louder. It doesn't work. But other than that, the game's great. So,
Yeah, well, look, I'm also loving the game. Just so everyone knows, before we get into Garuda's introduction, is Donte is working. He is going to dip in a little bit later. He will be here. But because of the time change in America, you guys are trying to save daylight, which is crazy. He's working a little bit into the show. So some weeks he'll be here on time and other weeks he won't be, but that's all good. Garuda, welcome back, the frugal gamer, the PC Master Race mod king, a man who only moves at 60 FPS and no less, but sometimes more. Welcome back. How's your week been?
Thank you, brother. Yeah, great to see all you guys. Week has been crazy, you know. Real life's always real, but man, there's lots of good games to play that are out right now. And bro, the Game Awards showed us that we're in for a massive year next year. So yeah, it's been great. Thanks. I'm finally feeling better. Yeah, man, just loving life and glad to be here.
Absolutely, man. Great to have you back. And then, of course, there is me, Riskit, your host. The firebrand, the console purist. If I can't plug and play, there ain't no way. Welcome to the show, chat. Let's get into the topics. Well, it's probably just lazy gaming, right? Before we do get into the topics, let's just do this quick super chat from you, Donte Cazzetto, one of our fantastic mods and an absolute champion. He said the VGAs were full of games with characters that are synonymous with what Australians call candy. We don't call anything candy. Blue has wishlisted all of those.
I don't know what he means. I'm assuming he means uwu games, which everybody knows are like the bane of my existence. So like, I think I text you guys, I hate games like this with the fire of 10,000 suns. It's just not my thing. But
I mean, they make for really good trailers, but they're not my cup of tea to play. Yeah, I'm not an uwu gamer. Some. I mean, I'd probably play Stella. I don't like how they added that new thing in where she kicks you if you try to move the camera to a specific position. I don't know who would do that. It's crazy. I think they should add in more detail. Red Wolf Renegade with the $2 super chat. He says Mafia Trilogy is on sale. Buy it. Just do it.
Oh,
thanks.
I did that. Actually, it's on Steam right now. The Mafia Trilogy is $13.
Yes, she's joining the Ascendant.
It's cheaper.
Yes.
It's you're breaking my heart, Holly.
Much more affordable. It's true.
You know what? I looked everywhere and it was the cheapest. So you gotta go
breaking
where
my
it's the
heart.
cheapest.
I'm the last console purist. That's why, you know, my name says it.
You're a glutton for punishment. That's what you are.
And I'm playing Indiana Jones on PC because I didn't pay for it. So
that sounds like excuses right there. She's coming on over.
No, they're not excuses. They're just explanations that I will go anywhere to play a game that I need to.
Anywhere, huh?
One of us.
I know what to do. Spread out gang breadcrumbs on the floor. Like, here's a game. No, listen. It's crazy how many great deals you can find, though, just trying to like game on PC. I'm not being funny when I say this or facetious.
No,
it's insane. You can find some crazy good deals to get. Oh, that's not even appropriate for this.
That's what blew me away when I moved to PC.
Yeah. Wait, too. And honestly, everybody should just check if you have Amazon Prime. They did take a few games out the other day, but they have a ton of really good games in there. At least they did a week ago.
What is happening?
And they're all free. They're all free. You get them all. It's pretty great.
Like free to keep. Like you don't have to do anything. They're just yours.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Just like how Epic gives you one game a week for free, which is actually usually a pretty good game. Amazon gives you like a bulk of them a month.
Mm-hmm.
Grey Monad in the chat says, but boobies don't bounce like that. I assume he's talking about the Uwu games. I think jiggle physics are the next step in game development. So I'm
and all
forward
boobies
to
are
that.
not created equal, sir. So
that is true.
Maybe you need to see a few more.
Monad, when I dip over to where you are, we'll head out and check some out. That went down a strange.
Well,
what the?
Okay.
So I don't know what happened. So anyway,
you're gonna play Stellar Blade, aren't you?
Yeah, so moving on to the first. Holly's face right now. She's like,
Stellar Blade is such a good game, though. I really wish I could get you to play that, Holly.
It is a good game.
I'm gonna have to gift it to her. That's what I'm gonna have to do.
I think so.
I'm with you,
Won't
Holly.
be accepted.
You gotta reject
right
it.
back.
Just send it back
Right
to
back.
him.
Yeah, look, speaking of
that's a
games,
good game.
fantastic games. I have been playing Indiana Jones as well, just like the rest of the panel. I think just quick pre-chat in the green room. Garuda, Holly, and I are still in the Vatican, and that is a long section. You don't have to do everything in that whole Vatican, but I'm just one of those people that if I'm playing an open world game and it's got extra stuff, especially with Indiana Jones, because if you don't do that side stuff, you miss out on a lot of upgrades. So I've just been running around the Vatican doing stuff, and there's not a whole lot of action, and it's keeping me engrossed, which is really sort of not usual for me. If I'm not shooting a gun or in the middle of a tussle like constantly, and it's first person. So I guess I have to say this before I jump to the rest of the panel and see what they're thinking of Indiana Jones. I think I was wrong about this game. I really wanted an Uncharted third person sort of over the shoulder, show them how it's done action adventure. But the more I've been playing Indy, and then if you watch the films as well, the more like the action sequences are obviously fantastic and the huge set pieces that they have in the movies, but there is obviously through the movie quite a bit of, quiet discovery where they're sort of he's doing puzzles or he's like researching or he's discovering something. And I think this Indiana Jones does that really, really well. And maybe they wouldn't have been able to, maybe they would have. I've still preferred the third person over the shoulder view, but I don't think they would have been able to do it quite this well in a third person. I don't think so. We'll never know because they haven't done that. But I was 100% wrong because I don't know if you guys in the chat and you guys on the panel here remember when that was shown. I was really not happy at all.
Me too.
And I made it pretty clear on Twitter that I didn't like it. But yeah, I was wrong. I was 100% wrong. I'm really loving it. I think it's fantastic.
I'm going to say you weren't wrong, and I'll tell you why. Because I was with you 100%. I prefer first-person games, right? I'll tell you that much. I don't really like third-person. Once you've played a couple of those third-person action-adventure games, for me, they're just... I like the first-person immersiveness. I like the way first-person games control, right? I know that I'm in the minority there. But when I seen Indiana Jones, I assumed it would be third-person. I believed it should be third-person. But here's why I don't think you're wrong in saying that, and also myself, because we thought it was going to be a completely different style of game to what it actually ended up being. It's more of an immersive sim and a stealth and puzzle and exploration game. It's not really a traditional action adventure, bang, bang, shoot 'em up, climbing all over the place. Like, it's not like that. It has elements of some immersive sim games, like a lot of arcane games and stuff like that mixed in with the action adventure stuff. It would not have worked as well in third person with the style of game that they eventually chose. So I don't think you were completely wrong. We just thought it was going to be a different style of game. At least I did. I didn't think it was going to be exactly like this. And I think it was the right idea to go with first person. They've nailed it because of the style of game they made, right? And those are the kind of games I like. So, I mean, it's fantastic. Like, the interior environments are the best I've almost ever seen in a game. Like,
they're really well done.
So good, man. And if you play that
even just when you're traversing through walking or cruising around through the game into rooms that really are just like, you know, next step rooms where you're not really getting anything from. Even those
110%
rooms
detail
are just fully built out, and I know all of you guys are playing it on PC, which is just disappointing to hear, but I've been playing it on Xbox, and I will say this, on the Series S, it still has the ray traced lighting. However, the shadow quality is noticeably, and I don't normally notice that sort of stuff, and I'm cool with it. But it is noticeably bad, so it's not good. So it takes away from the lighting, because then you see the shadows where it's hitting, and it's not quite right. Plus, you know, all the mist and the smoke effects aren't as good. But on the Series X, it looks absolutely stunning. It is perfect. All that stuff that you're getting on the PC, except for like the actual ray trace reflection stuff that you can boot up and use. But aside from that, it looks it's one of the best looking games I've seen this generation, hands down.
Yeah,
you won't harm
good
yourself.
It looks on Series X.
You won't harm yourself playing it on a Series X for sure. It's just like if you really want to get the highest end visuals, as we know, like the path ray tracing and such, you're going to get that with PC. Yes. And it's going to
But you need a really high-end PC for that. It's not just any PC can run that. It's not really fair to say like you just need a PC, because you need like close to the best of the best available, like thousands of dollars worth to run that path tracing. It's so
you do need a decent one.
Heavy.
I will say that, but you're not even going to say thousands upon thousands though, because I see so many sales nowadays with like a 4070 in it for 1,000 or less. So you can,
but you're making huge concessions if you're using a 4070 to run path tracing. You still are. Like I'm running concessions with a 4080. So, but I mean, it looks, that path tracing on that game it's worth the performance hit. Like it is so good, man.
It's a gorgeous game. And like you said, just the whole environment point, because I had this discussion with someone. They were like, "Oh, what do you think, Mr. Unreal Engine? You know, does it look as good as that?" It doesn't look quite as good as an Unreal Engine game, fidelity wise. It does not. But if you're talking about environments as far as set design, details, and all the stuff put into it, looks just as good in those aspects. It's when you're going out into the world where it looks less impressive compared to
character models are not as good as like UE5.
Yeah.
I have problems with the bright areas. It seems to get totally washed out. They're almost pure white. I haven't been able to find the right settings to compromise.
Oh, you got your HDR on, right?
HDR is a bit messed up.
But you know, when I go into the area, it's first like totally blown out.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's almost like, you know, like if you're in a really dark room and then you step outside in a sunny day and, and then your eyes adjust. Yeah. That's almost what exactly happens when I walk into a room. Like it will readjust, right?
Yeah.
But when it's on the fringe or when you first go into an area, all like extreme lit, it's all blown out. And then after a few seconds, it's like, okay. And then it brings it back.
I'm all right.
But on the sides, if it's just a side area, it's still always blown out.
Yeah, you got to definitely have to find. You definitely have to find the right levels for that.
It frustrates me that so many games have this issue with HDR, because
it's weird,
I love
right?
HDR, and it's an old like it's not like a new thing, you know.
Yeah, I don't
and
get that
every
either.
TV has HDR. I don't get it.
Yeah, no, you're right. I don't understand it. I think it's an Xbox thing. I'm gonna be honest with you, because
I played on Steam.
Okay. I didn't have that issue with Steam, but I know Xbox has certain features, man. Like Garuda's going into detail about this.
Flintlock, I had that problem really bad, right? And that was Monad kept telling me to turn off the HDR on my TV, and I said, nope. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
It should work.
What they do in Indie, they allow you to change the levels of the white balance, though. If you play with that, that's what I did, and it stopped all the blowouts as far as the white blowouts like that. So
there's problems with Indie with HDR at the moment.
Yeah,
on PC there is, and there's a link between and I'm not going to bore you with this again, but there's a link between the HDR and the frame generation and the resolution not working properly. It's all linked.
So I've been going in and I've been like like doing like different settings, playing with them back and forth, right? Like DLSS on, DLSS
Yeah.
off, frame gen on, frame gen off. The back to the natural TAA, which I don't know what that stands for.
You don't
but
want to use that one.
That's
Yeah.
it works better than the DLSS.
But it murders your performance.
You all right over there?
No,
Sorry, were we talking about PC settings? My bad.
Riskit, this is a side effect of you being the last of your breed, my
look,
friend.
when that
Yeah.
mystical Steam machine comes out in a year, you're gonna need to know this stuff.
He'll get there eventually. You can hold out.
It's the only way.
So long. It was only so
It's the
long
only
you can
way.
hold out. Yeah,
But-
eventually you're going to be brought on to the fold.
Yeah, he will.
Never.
But
Never.
my issues with the actual game, ignoring the PC stuff, right? And they're very, very minor. Like it's like nitpicking. You know, the game is fantastic. Like full stop, right? My minor nitpicks are there were some points in the Vatican, even before you get to the before you get to the Vatican, or like right when you get there and you're trying to get to the actual opening of the Vatican where you meet Antonio, right? That first subset where you go up that tower, there's a point where you go from hanging on a cliff to using your whip to get into a window, at least the way I went. And you do that like 2 or 3 times. And the transitions between those different movements were not good. Like it was very awkward. The way it looked.
It snaps.
Right?
I get what you
It's
mean.
not smooth.
Yeah,
like,
it could be better animated and such. You're saying.
Yeah. And that's nitpicky, right? It's not anything to like actually complain about. I'm just saying I just notice it, right? I was like, ooh, that doesn't, that looks not natural, right?
Yeah, they have some instances of that for sure.
And I would expect that, I guess, going from first person to third. The other thing that I had an issue with is I fast traveled a couple times, and at least at this one location, anytime I tried to fast travel there, I would arrive and immediately there'd be a captain standing there and be like, that person doesn't look normal here. And and I'm like, I literally just landed in this place. You have no chance.
They're like, go Michael.
Yeah, and then all these red exclamation points are on the screen in like 1.8 seconds after I land there. And I'm like, that's not right. A fast travel point is supposed to put you in a safe spot.
A safe spot, right? Yeah. No, it
Yeah.
does have some weird like issues. One time I was walking in that square area.
Yep.
And literally, I don't know what the hell I did. I just walked and like stepped over a bench or something. It was like red alerts, and they started tapping.
I'll tell you what happened to you, bro. It happened to me a few times, and I'll tell you what it is. It's when this is what I noticed anyway. It's when an NPC walks into the restricted area, they blame you. When an NPC who's not supposed to be in there, like a townsperson, they blame you, and the whole fucking town comes after you and beats your ass to the ground. Yeah. I watched a lady walk past the security guard into a place she shouldn't be, and the game acts like it's you doing that.
Wow!
Oh man, the whole town come after my ass, bro.
Okay. You can change outfits and stuff like to hide your identity. So
I was a priest and they still bashed my ass.
No, they'll beat your ass if you're a priest. But if you're one of them, like if you have on the fascist fit, they won't mess with you like that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, so Pete in the chat, he said Indiana Jones is so slow I can't get out of the Vatican because it's a snooze fest. And I was feeling that way, Pete, because that's the kind of gamer I am. I need the action to pull me forward. And then I started to discover stuff and then realize how actually open that Vatican, it opens up more as you find more stuff and you do more side content. But like, I loved how you can just get to different spots going over roofs and figuring out where stuff is. And you won't even, it doesn't hold your hand with like showing you where there's ways to get to things. Yeah. I love so you need to explore and like be looking up and around the whole area to figure out if there's something here that's going to help you get to here. I love that. That
and
it has Metroidvania elements.
And check your map. And the map. That's the one thing that really hit me. You hit it on the head. Is the Metroidvania like design of the stage area? Like the Vatican is the reason why it's taking us so long because I literally got to the guys Giza rather about 4 hours. I'm probably 4 hours ahead of you all in some aspects. But that's because I could play on the go too. I played it streaming through cloud on my ROG Ally. But that area is so incredibly large, the Vatican area, and not just because of the wide aspect of where you can travel, but because of so many different entryways and things that lead to other, exits and entrances, especially even underground. It plays on verticality and all of that too. It's just really well done in that aspect. I have to give them credit. It's a very Metroidvania-esque style of gaming when it comes to that. And I know, and I get the whole you want a fast action thing. I think you just got to put that out of your mind and look at it from a different perspective. Like, Indy is not Drake. He's not going to have crazy action shooting off every second. Same thing with Laura. That's not, or Lara. What was that? Remember that one guy that got mad, Riskit, because I wasn't saying Lara the way he wanted me to? It's not Lara. It's Lara. I'm like, I don't give a damn. But anyway, you all should have seen it that day. I forgot who it was. He was so mad at me. Anyway, it is not that type of game. He is an archaeologist first, right? And they really emphasize that aspect of it on you gathering these clues or finding these artifacts and things of that nature when he starts explaining. And just to throw it out there, shout out to Troy Baker, man. I want to get into voice acting. This dude is next tier. How can you be this good at everything? I mean, you listen to him do the Joker. You listen to him do Joel. You listen to him do Indy. And it's like, damn, when you talk about versatility, this dude, when his high sailor pants might be right there, next to it. So shout out to Troy Baker.
Yeah, man. I watched the movies like right before I played the game. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
He's very what?
The pants are very old. The pants, his whole outfit was like 30s Hollywood style, right? Like the buttoned up shirt that was just slightly undone, and then the high pants and the shoes. It was cool.
Yeah, it's got that old Hollywood slash. I think they call them sailor pants, right, or something like that.
I call them whack.
You call them black?
Wait a minute.
What black?
That was shit. I didn't like. I said whack.
Oh, okay. I'm like, black. Wow.
Well, look, going back to that level design, I think
do
this
me
is
like that.
Probably one of the best level designs I've seen in a game, and I'm just in the Vatican. And I don't think it initially shows out well. Like when I first dipped in, I'm like, oh shit, I don't know if I'm going to make it through this game. This is exactly what I thought it was going to be. Yep, this is shit. I'm like, all right, I'm going to give it a few hours. I'm going to push through this. And like don't get me wrong, the initial opening scene, and I won't spoil it because John Linneman, fuck you, did spoil it for me. Sorry. John Linneman.
Wait, he spoiled it? He spoiled the game for you?
Yeah, he posted it on in their video when they do the opening scene. So there's guys in the chat who haven't played it, so I don't want to talk about the opening scene, but it's like, oh, this is a good opening scene. It was a bit spoiled for me, but that goes well, and then it has the next section, and then once it puts you into the sort of the meat of the game, you're like, oh shit, I'm bored, and that's how I felt for a bit. But when I started to discover stuff, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Oh yeah, that's cool. Oh yeah, that's cool. And even like you do take photographs of things, so you have a camera, and all that ends up being relevant. There's people having conversations, and you pick up something from like somewhere, and you don't even think about it. You've picked it up. You're like, oh, cool, that's cool. And then someone's having a conversation, and they want what you have. But if you don't go up to them and like listen to the conversation and then get the prompt, you wouldn't know. You see, you sort of need to go and properly.
I like that. You need to properly look at stuff. Yeah.
It's like a Bethesda explore aspect. Bethesda does that in their games where you have to. Bethesda will make sure you hear their conversations, though. They'll walk by, you barely hear it. Oh, mission! It's like I didn't even hear that conversation. I don't know how I'm taking on it. But this game, you really have to sit there because they'll talk, but you don't get it until you listen a little bit longer. Yeah, but
like I was just admiring. Yeah, like things like you were saying, Riskit. Like I was just admiring a painting on the walls. Like, wow, every painting, every piece of paper, you can read it because the words are there. Every painting looks like it's been handcrafted. It's amazing. I was looking at this cow picture without giving anything away, and I was like, wow, that painting just looks so good. So I went in really close, and I could touch that, and it was a puzzle. and I wouldn't have known if I didn't really get in close. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Two
Oh,
of them
yes.
exact.
Yes.
Yeah.
I missed
Did you
that.
find that?
I missed.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
missed it, and I got a note that's in the Vatican that was talking about it, and I'm like, what's going on here? So then I went back to there, and then I did that, and I was like,
So I didn't get the note. See, I was just like, that's a cool painting. So I went in close, and I was like, eh?
Yeah.
And that's cool too, because I've done that. I've like kind of saw something that caught my eye, like, oh, what's this? And I'm like, oh, wait. Oh, okay. So yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean when it comes to that, but that's cool too, because the game doesn't hold your hand, to Riskit's point, but you also will get you can buy these like flyers or whatever they call them, like information things for the area that will highlight everything on your map. You just have to go and get it. And even though it highlights it, some of it's still tricky to find, just to say, because it's a lot of verticality, like I said. So some of the stuff is underground. You're going to have to really, do some searching.
Yeah.
And then some of you have to do certain things to open a passage or whatever and things like that too. But I think it's really well done.
Or a door.
Yeah, and this is why
if you do the side content, and then you're like, I've been trying to get into this place because I think there's something in there that I want, or you can see it on your map. You can't get in there, and you're like, oh. And then you do a side content mission. You're like, that's how I get in there. So yeah, it's really cool with that level design. It just it encourages exploration. It encourages you to do the side stories, and all the side story stuff gives you benefits, like even if they're minor, or like it's a little bit more of the story, or it's a book that upgrades your abilities, or it's just really well done. I think that in years to come, I think Indiana Jones might end up being that gold standard for side content. I think people will refer back to this and go, when there is a good game with great side content, they'll be like, it's not Indiana level Jones like side content, but it's still good, sort of thing. I think that'll be the reference point.
That's a great point, amazing. Actually. We always go back to like CD Projekt Red about how they handled their side missions, which were God tier, by mind you. CD Projekt Red still holds that crown for me, but you're right. You go to the side missions and all that, and it all plays into the main structure of the game, the main story, which I thought was pretty cool, because I'm doing a side thing, and it's like, oh, what about this with Niflheim? I don't want to go too much, but it started naming some things. I'm like, wait a minute, isn't that part of the main thing? Am I on a main mission now? I have to look at the map and look at my details. Yeah, when it all plays into it. So they're not just there for nothing. It has some greater connection to everything. And I thought that was really cool.
It doesn't feel like busy work. It feels like it's actually tied to the game. It actually means something. It's not just tacked on. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
I don't like the map either.
I have a bugbear with the map. It's because you can't see it the whole time.
Yeah,
you can't see the bottom of it all the time.
This all the time, and then you can't zoom.
There's a setting to zoom in.
You can't. Yeah, but it's not like it doesn't take
saying
up the
you
whole
have to
screen.
tilt. Yeah, you have to tilt your camera to look. Yeah, I know what you mean. That is kind of stupid. I will admit, I don't like that.
Like I like the idea. It's the journal, but it doesn't. You can't see it. Right. And then the other
But
thing
if you press RB, you can.
But then the other problem is that if I'm in a building, sometimes it'll just show the map of the building, and I can't toggle to the map of the whole area instead of just in the building. Yeah. I don't like that either.
You can, but it's painful. So then you have to you go across to journals, then you go down to that specific mission, then you go into their specific notes, and then you go down to that specific map, and it's just like, fuck this, I'm going to go outside.
Yeah, it's too much. It's not intuitive as other maps in games where you just press Y or something and zoom out to the bigger map. I know exactly what you mean.
I feel you on that. Yeah.
So you're not wrong, Harley. That is the way they handled it was not good on that. Maybe they can do an update or something for that to fix it, but that wasn't intuitive enough or well done in my opinion. I agree with you.
But the UI design, like on the whole, is actually really, really good. Like the map has that bugbear. Agreed, 100% agreed. And then like even if you like change levels, so you go up one stairwell and you're like, I forgot to go back down. You know what I mean? You're like, whoa. But other than that, I think the UI and the way that they've handled the upgrades, the way that they've handled, the notes, the stories, how it's in a journal, you can flick through and get all the other bits and sort of understand everything around it. You've got it in a journal, is good. There is little bits that they sort of, it is hard to sometimes get to the information that you want to get to, though.
Yes.
You need to know where it is.
And if you're in a dark room, you can't see the map. You have to be standing in light. I've had a
Really?
lot of problems where I've been in a dark room and pulled up the map, and like you could see part, like if I'm standing partially in light, part of the journal you could see, but you can't see the other part. You have to step out into the light.
I kind of
Step
think
into the
that's cool
light.
in a way, though.
That's pretty
I mean,
cool.
it's a good idea, right?
Yeah.
But
As far as
It's functional.
a gaming thing, I get exactly
Yeah.
what you mean. Yeah, you don't
yeah,
have
but I
quality
like
of
the
life, it
I like the
sucks.
thought behind how detailed that is, right? The idea of being in a shadow, not being able to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say
Interesting.
this too, just to say about the first person aspect in combat. One of my thoughts were they going to get the sound and such right when it comes to combat, and is it going to feel good? I think it feels pretty
Oh
good
boy.
to punch these Nazis and fascists. And I will say they got the sound effects dead right. It sounds
Yeah, they
just like
definitely
the indie movie. You hit them at that heavy thunk when it punches, and it's hilarious because you could do certain actions and attacks, or you could like bop them across the head, and their eyes cross up. They're like, oh, like it's hilarious how they handled it. And there is the whip, by the way. That whip sounds particularly powerful. I'm like, damn, I don't want to get hit by that. So they did a really good job sound design wise when it comes to a lot of that too.
Oh, I do have to say this, by the way. Just for the shout out to Bethesda for providing me the premium code. So that they did provide me a code, but I was playing it before I even got the code because it came late. So shout out to them. But I will always say what I think about a game. I just wanted to be honest. Whoop, damn.
Did you add a into it?
Oh my god.
I sure did.
Oh my god.
That's right. I forgot you missed out on the last one. You didn't know he had that for you, did you?
No, I did not know that. That's a special surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plug that one in. But yes, look, honestly, I'm really surprised with the game personally, and I'm only in the Vatican, so I definitely can't put a score to it. But this is the game done the way I did not know that I wanted it done. So yeah, I'll take that L 100% because I was like livid. I was almost livid. I don't know if you remember Umbra and Holly, but I was in the chat like just popping off, and then I posted some shit on Twitter, and the entire Xbox community came after me because that's what they do. But like I was wrong, 100% wrong. This game is fantastic. It's for me at the moment at the Vatican. It's sitting at around about an 8. I've got problems with that map problems. I think sometimes it's a bit stiff with the punching. There's not as much combat variety. Haven't seen any set pieces yet. I haven't done any shooting. I like to shoot stuff, not in real life.
Yeah, I haven't shot the gun yet.
You rarely want to use the gun, pretty much because you don't want to set off the guards to come after you and start beating your ass. That's really why you don't want to shoot it, because you're like, pow, and all of a sudden,
You don't
go
need
to me, go to me, go to me. And it's like, all right, I shouldn't have shot that. But I will say this too, outside of that. Go to But I'm sorry, our German brothers.
Do you think Germans are scared of like getting angry at stuff, so they start yelling and they're like, and they're like, oh damn, I sound like okay.
It is the angriest sounding language. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, they sound particularly angry.
I don't know. Russian is pretty strong.
Russian is
too.
up
Oh
there.
yeah, actually,
Yeah,
yes, Ollie, yes.
Yep.
They sound calm angry though, because they're like, I will beat your ass until it is like putty.
That's
And
when they
bleeding.
talking English. If they talking Russian English, that's when it sounds calm, terrifying. But when they speak in their
Rumblish.
own, yeah, that's right. Yeah, right. But I was gonna say too, I would suggest for anybody who hasn't played it yet, Big Med Mo. It looks like who else said they're about to play it now? Spartan. I would suggest turning the difficulty all the way to the hardest. The one thing this I will say, unfortunately, the enemy AI is not that difficult, and they are. Yeah, like I beat in the Vatican. I triggered one of the I don't know how if I did it or maybe like you enlightened us about some idiot NPC ran off into the area and they just started fighting me. I beat up at least 8 guards back to back while they were all attacking me. I just knocked them all out and then eventually reset the checkpoint because I thought like, okay, that took me out of the immersion of what I'm doing, beating everybody ass. But so put it on the hardest difficulty to play it too because they're a little too easy in enemy AI wise, I would say.
Does it make the AI sharper though? because it's as dumb as dog shit the way it is on modern.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it
I
is.
think maybe they'll beat your ass quicker. That'll incentivize you to play right. How about that?
It's
I
one of
turned
those
off the
games
little
where
indicators above their head.
You can sort of go all 300 on them, you know what I mean? Get them into an area where like one at a time can come down. And you can just like line them up and just beat the shit out of them.
Bottleneck them. Yeah, bottleneck them to come through.
Just in there like a Spartan, just like, for Sparta!
All right.
Oh my god!
And I also try to use the left and because obviously it's left and right punches, and you can just like spam right and just keep like punching them with the one arm. But I try to use the thing so it feels a little bit better. I don't know. I feel like it's a good idea, but I think most people would just be spamming one trigger and beating the shit out of people because there's no reason not to. You just you know what I mean? You may as well just
There's
do
no
that.
left
your
and right
stamina
block.
bar.
So.
Your stamina bar goes away though. You lose your stamina, and if
but
they're
it does
blocking,
that if you use. Yeah, it does that if you use left and like if you just use right or just use left or use left and right, the stamina goes down the same. Whereas if they changed it so your stamina went down slower if you used the left and right hits, you know what I mean? So you're actually properly punching
as
like
in
you
one
would,
arm's
no
not
one's
tired.
getting into a fight. Yeah. No one's getting into a fight and just spamming the one arm the whole time. Like that's not happening. Like you get the shit kicked out of you. I've never seen that in MMA. Dude walks in, he's like, I'm just doing the one arm thing.
Take this right hook. Right hook. I would say the combat is fun for that reason too. And then like somebody mentioned the countering. So that is fun to press LB and block them and counter them. Like all that feels good. I would just hope that they in the next one or whatever, they improve on the enemy AI. I would say that is a negative of the game, but it's not so bad where it's like, I don't like this. No, the combat is still fun to do, especially picking up all these different objects and weapons and just cracking people across their head. It is fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Umbra
I like
satisfying to smash it with like a.
I don't know if you do this, but like in a fight, I'm like in a room, I'm like, and then it like breaks, and I'm like, where's the next thing? Oh, yep, there it is.
yeah.
Where's the next thing? I'm like trying to pick everything up and snap it over someone's head. I love it.
Or like
it's
if
hilarious.
You got the priest outfit on, you get that staff anyway.
Yeah.
You know what is fun is just if you stand above and you take up a wine bottle and you throw it, you can knock them out with just a wine bottle.
Oh, I haven't done that
nice.
yet.
There's one area where you have to get into that area from up top and down into it. And there's a few guys in some very small areas.
Oh,
so
I
it's
know.
not like
I know where you're at.
You can't stealth it. And so I was like, all right, plan of attack. What am I gonna do? And I had a wine bottle, and I was like, so I aimed right at one of them's head, and I just chucked it, and they like totally knocked out. And then I stopped back, and they're all like looking around at each other, right? But they didn't see. That was fun. But I usually go stealth. I prefer.
There's an achievement.
Oh, look, so you got me right before I said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the apple. Ahead. Yeah, when you throw the apple, I spent like every time I ran up to someone. Yeah, so you throw an apple at someone and you hit them and you get an achievement. And there's one for the fly swat, and I didn't even look. I did look at the achievements for the apple.
Yeah, I saw the fly swat. I didn't pick it up.
After the fly yeah, I saw the fly swat and I'm like, that's got to be an achievement, surely. So I'm like, I picked it up and like beat this dude and I got an achievement. I'm like, I knew it.
Yeah.
Of course, because no one's gonna.
Is there only one fly swatter?
Yeah, it's in a.
You'll find them. Yeah, you'll run across it at some point.
I didn't pick it up because I thought that's not gonna hurt.
But is there only the one?
Yeah, there's only one in the Vatican.
Multiples of it throughout. Like,
oh, really?
When I got mine, I got it in Geyser.
Okay.
I did in Geyser.
So there's
yeah. But
I've seen it and I was like, I'm not.
I got to do the apple one. But I will say they will dodge. By the way, if you try to throw it, they can. I've thrown objects and they've dodged, so I've never hit them with the bottle.
Yes.
So I want to see how that works. But they've always dodged with me and start trying to beat my ass. So yeah.
Well, yeah, you gotta do it when they're not looking at you. Yeah.
That's them saying they missed. Gonna go Migos. And then they just start. I don't know why they have to say so much to say so little, but yeah.
I would love if they had the Italian English version. I appreciate it's all in Italian in the Vatican, but I would love to have. It probably would have made me laugh more if they were like, "Good morning, how are you?" Just like
talking like Mario.
We left Wolverine over here to get out.
Where is Luigi? And they always have their hands up like this. I don't.
You don't
if
know
anyone's
it yet,
Italian
but in the future you will have it as an assassin who takes out an
That's why I love the Metro games, because when you play it in English, it's still Russian English. It's amazing. I love it.
You mustn't be.
We do have to move on to the next topic, but before we do, please hit the like button, share us out. We go live 8 p.m. every second Friday. We do a pre-record for the Friday after that with small topics and whatever topics we didn't get to this week, which happens often. So check us out for that one as well. Holly, I'm going to jump to you because you have the sacred list of the Game Awards. But guys, please hit that like button, subscribe for more content like this. I'll be putting out more content on the channel as well. You may have noticed. Head there. I've got some videos up, some stuff, some things. And Holly, what do we got? What's first off the rung for the Game Awards? Oh, first thing that we should definitely go through is the winner of the Game Awards, or should we do the games go through the trailers, or what are we thinking?
Yeah. So, do you want to do the announcements, or do you want to do the actual awards, or both?
Does anyone care who won?
You want to burn through the awards really fast and then go to the trailers?
Yeah. Let's burn through the
Because
awards.
there's only a handful of awards you probably actually want to talk about, right?
Yeah.
It's
true.
Yeah, good point.
I'll just start going from the top, and just stop me when I get to what I want to hear. Don't do it. Best fighting game, VR game, esports, games for impact, innovation and accessibility, family game, which was Astrobot.
What was the game for impact?
Neva.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because it's the same developer that made that game Gris, which I've always looked at and always thought, I think I might want to play that.
Yeah.
And I never actually pulled the trigger to get it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now this game, they won the same award. They won for both of their games with this. The art style on Gris is beautiful. So is Neva.
It is really nice. I own them. I own Gris because I got it really cheap on Steam. But it's yes, there you go.
I think it's on Game Pass as well.
It is on Game Pass. I think you're right. But it was like $1 or something. It was so cheap. I was like, I gotta get it.
But
and
it probably sucks on Game Pass.
As far as accessibility, now you're a pony now. For accessibility, I think that was Prince of Persia that won that, right? And that's
accessibility
weird.
Is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Yeah, which was so. I saw that and I was like, that made me more mad because Prince of Persia and Riskit, I'm sure you agree, should have been in at least the Game of the Year nomination. I'm sorry, Balatro
I believe so.
should not have been there. I'm sorry to say it, but Balatro, and I played 30 plus hours. I don't care. So if people are like, well, you didn't play it. Yes, I did. I love it, actually. It still shouldn't have been there. Same with Erdtree. This game should have been there. Prince of Persia should have been there.
Okay, well, we're moving on, right? Through the list.
Yes, moved on.
Family game was Astrobot. Best performance, best action game, most anticipated, best multiplayer, which was bullshit. Best community.
Well, what was the best multiplayer? It should have been COD. It should have been COD.
Yeah.
It should have been 100% COD. Like not that because it's an Xbox game, and yes, you could make the argument that it's best in class because it's had so many years of iterations, but it's still fucking best in class. So if we're doing the best, not the best new on the scene or the best, it's the best fucking multiplayer game that there is, and that's almost a known quantity. If we're doing an award where we're giving it to Helldivers, suck my dick, Jeff. No, I'm sorry.
How the fuck does Helldivers win when it's only been out for a year? And it fell off a cliff because it barely had any content.
Well, hold on. We'll get to that because I have a big complaint with one of the awards that.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Action. Yeah, I think I put it in the chat. So that was best action game, best multiplayer. My problem with that is that people got really pissed at that very quickly. And like the announcement that they made at the awards, while clever as an announcement, that's the next enemy type that they had, and it's almost a year later. That should have been out in like April or May. Like, what? Yeah. Not now, right? Anyway, best community support, best art direction, best game direction, which was Astrobot, best debut indie game, which was Balatro, best action adventure was Astrobot, best RPG was Metaphor, content creator.
What was that, Umbra? So you're talking about because
action
Monad had
a game direction for Astro was just stupid to me. More
Yeah.
direction, I guess they can argue, well, the way they implemented the level stage design. Okay, maybe. But that's action? Huh?
Yeah, that's what Monad said, and I said to, like, while we're watching it, he was like, he's like, that's bullshit. It's a platformer. I'm like, yeah, but there's not a best platformer sort of thing. So I guess it falls into that container of action
But then
adventure.
It'd be an
that's where-
adventure.
That's where Prince of
Yeah.
Persia will pop back up. You see what I mean?
Yes, yeah, that
These
should
are the
be in
things
there.
They're just ignoring, like Prince. I don't know what it is. Why they just decided Ubisoft don't matter, but that I don't see how they could.
Well, they
ignore
decide Call
Prince
of Duty
Persia.
doesn't matter either. And
Yeah, they
this
did.
year, out of any year, it deserved some recognition.
Absolutely.
Fucking
and I know
A.
you. I know you're
Yes.
loving it, Blue. And it's like I haven't played enough of it, but I played the first mission and everything. And I know you usually see a lot of swaths of complaints when it comes to the base, right? Almost as much as Halo. I think nobody beats Halo fans when it comes to complaining. But
Monad, can you please can you put yourself in timeout for spam, please? Thank you.
no, he's gonna put no again. But you've seen an overabundance of love for Black Ops 6. Like everybody is loving what they've gotten, at least initially. So
And the
how in the
mission-
world?
The campaign was so good. Oh my
and
gosh.
it's like a 9. What is it? Rated a 9 something, right?
Yes.
It's like
Yeah.
how do you
Yes.
ignore all of that and like,
It's-
oh, this doesn't matter.
Because it's Call of Duty. Oh, Call of Duty.
That's dumb,
You know?
right? Yeah, that's
But then
not
I'm
fair.
like, but Fortnite, look at how much love they give Fortnite, right? And I'm
Yeah.
like,
And they even ignore
Yeah.
Fortnite on like
It's
like-
really
like,
dismissive
that's
of Call of
ongoing,
Duty
for
just
instance.
because it's Call of Duty, right? That's how it
and
feels.
even Destiny 2, which has had a mire of problems
Mhm.
over years, right? With their
Mhm.
fan base and everything. And they gave that noms. And to put
What
Call
about-
the one Call of Duty in audio design, which it's notoriously horrible for, is just
See,
It
I
boggles my mind.
disagree with that, but there's been other Call of Duties that have had like ridiculously bad audio with too loud of footsteps and too low. But anyway, we can get into that later. But
yeah. Sorry.
but
So, yes.
was it
So
in the best ongoing supported game either? Because that's it. The best.
No.
Like, how the fuck is that not the best updated game? With Fortnite, with like Destiny, that should be it. Like it comes out with the content every single season. It has a
Hold on.
shitload of content. It's yeah. It's
That's
crazy,
not ongoing
crazy.
though, because technically it's a new SKU, it's a new game. And here's where my complaint comes with best ongoing game was Helldivers 2. And I have such a problem with this award, not because it's Helldivers 2 specifically, but because that game came out in February, I believe,
Yep.
or late January. That is still a brand new game within this award cycle. That is not an ongoing game. That is a new release.
Yes.
Right.
And
It's
it hasn't
on-
had much content.
No, with no content. But
No
even
content.
besides that, it's not an ongoing game. Best multiplayer game, it won that, fine, but it's not an ongoing game yet, right? Like it has to have made
Mhm.
it through one
Year at
award
least.
cycle,
Yeah.
right? To now be an ongoing game. And that
Yeah.
drives me nuts.
Yeah, I've seen most people complain about that one in particular. They're like,
Mhm.
why is that there for that at all? And
It's-
agree.
I've got a big thing to say about it, but we'll get to the end of it, and then there's one thing I just definitely want to say, and it comes back to the usual. But Holly,
Yes.
Rock and roll.
Okay. So best RPG was Metaphor. Sports racing game was EA
Easily.
Sports FC 25. I don't know why college football wasn't in there. That did really well this year.
It did,
Best
yep.
Best Sim strategy game was Frostpunk 2, which totally deserved it. Best TV adaptation was Fallout. Best
Well
score.
deserved.
Best score was Final Fantasy. Best independent game, not indie game, independent game was Balatro. Best mobile game was Balatro. Best audio design was Hellblade 2. Player's voice award was Black Myth.
Black Myth,
best
baby.
narrative was Metaphor, and of course,
Well
best game
deserved.
was Astrobot.
Yeah, well deserved for
Yeah.
for I think so. But Metaphor won best RPG and narrative, which I agree on both points. And it not winning game of the year for me, even though that was my game of the year, is okay because of it winning best RPG.
no,
narrative.
if
For
it won
those
those,
reasons.
it immediately follows that it should have won fucking. And I hate
Fair.
Metaphor.
Fair.
Like I
Fair
did
point.
not
No.
like it. I didn't.
No.
But from what everyone, there's two games there that should have been in the running for. Now, Astrobot was my game of the year. I haven't played Black Myth Wukong, so I'm being completely honest about that. I have played Metaphor. Whilst I don't like Metaphor, I can see the quality, effort, and objectively look at that game and say, this game objectively is a better experience than Astrobot for people who like this particular game. So that's a bit of a caveat. Now, I think Metaphor is and this is not taking a shot at you, Holly, or me, because we both didn't. It's not our thing, but that game is like a hardcore RPG gamer's fucking game-ass game. Like, that is what I see in Metaphor.
JRPG.
But it also covers some extremely adult themes, like stuff that like is happening in the world now. It covers in the game, and so it also has a social impact, that game, like with its story. And I can objectively look at this game and say, look, Astrobot is a fun game. It is a great game. It is definitely like a must-play game. But also, Metaphor is in that category and is probably better, objectively, not subjectively, just objectively. Not to me, Astrobot's better than Metaphor, but I can look at it and see that. Holly, you going to jump in?
No, so when my disagreement with what you initially said was because it had won Best Narrative and Best RPG, that it should win Best Game. And that's not, I don't agree with that at all. Because Best Action Adventure is also a category of a type of game, right? So you can't just, I don't think you can just say, well, these categories should filter in this game, right? Now, what I will say is that, yes, absolutely, Metaphor is not my jam at all. I have zero interest in playing it. It's not my thing. I love RPGs. I don't like JRPGs. However, like, I can see that there's so much respect and love in the community for Metaphor, and there's a lot of people who very much enjoyed Black Myth Wukong. So if either of those had won, I wouldn't actually have been mad, because it's not my game, but it's not my style of game, but it doesn't mean that I don't respect that it's a good game for the people who enjoy those games. But honestly, I mean, Astrobot was my game of the year. I love Astrobot. I just feel like they're deserving of that spot. And I don't think Astrobot should be belittled from winning Game of the Year because it is what it is. That's my argument is,
well,
like,
I'm not,
all three of them were deserving. If Metaphor had won, fine. If Black Myth had won, fine. And the other super ironic part about this is there was such a poop storm around the fact that Elden Ring had to be in the Game of the Year contender and had to be in all of these categories with other people for just like Game of the Year.
And
they literally gave it zero things. So why did we go through all of that anyway? Why didn't you just give a different game that spot?
For the
future for Sony when they do it.
Because I think honestly, and this is not me being, and it could be wrong, but honestly, I really think that Keighley, from a business perspective, not just from a personal perspective, I really think there's no other way he gets down on his knees, right, for specific companies because he wants their first big announcements. He wants their business. He wants all that stuff. So I think he tiers his who's more important and who can do the most for his show. And I think he gives them, a little bit of extra oomph. And I think objectively that's what he's doing. I think he's a dick for doing it. And the other thing, Holly, is I wasn't saying it's just because of that. It's just because of that they won these two awards, but that's just more evidence that game should have been the Game of the Year to me. Maybe you don't think so, and that's cool. But if it's winning those, it's the best in those classes. It's the best. That means to me,
there are
it's
other
like
classes of games. Like best sports racing game is a different class. Best multiplayer game, best indie game. Like all of those are the best in their own category. It's like the Westminster Dog Show, right? Like you have hunting group, the sporting group, the whatever, right? And they all go down to here's the best of the best that we've brought forward. So they're all deserving.
Yes. The other thing is, the fact is that Astrobot was quite comfortably the highest reviewed game of the year as well. So that's another
Metaphor
thing.
was higher,
Metaphor
I think,
was
wasn't it?
Metaphor was at
Metaphor
least
was higher.
tied. I think it
I
was
thought
94
Metaphor
as
was
well.
like a 90 or something like that.
94.
94.
Also,
Yeah.
Rebirth.
Fuck, did
was
it get to
94 too, I
94?
believe.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
I think Rebirth and Metaphor both had 94, if I'm not mistaken.
But Astrobot was 90 something too, right?
Yeah,
it
was
wasn't it like a
94.
94?
All of them, I think, were 94.
No.
Those three specifically, if I'm
Are
not
they
mistaken.
really
95.
94 games? Man.
Cygnus
Yeah,
says
look, it's-
95.
It's a great
95
game.
for it? Okay.
That's the thing. I'm not saying shit on Astrobot, and I know that there's some people in the chat who absolutely are. And then you can talk about sales, and you can talk about but I think Metaphor had a bigger impact in the gaming community. And if you want to go to sales to prove that, you can. More people played that, and more people are still playing that.
Sales
So it wasn't
doesn't.
just on one platform.
But it had a bigger impact on the community because a lot more people played Metaphor
But
than
it
they
was
did
also on multiple
Astrobot.
platforms, and Astrobot was on one platform, so you can't.
And whose fault is that?
I'm looking at Astrobot and Metaphor are both 94.
No, you cannot use that against Sony when you definitely would have used it as a pro for Xbox.
Just to
would've,
throw it
you're
out
right.
there, as far as metas go, now Astrobot and Metaphor are both 94. I don't know where 95 came from. Is that Open Critic maybe somebody's talking about? I don't know.
But I'm not saying Astrobot is bad, and I'm not saying it's not great. In fact, it is great, and I fucking loved it, and it was my game of the year. But I didn't play Metaphor because it wasn't my type of game, and I didn't play. Christ, the other one just slipped out of my head. I didn't play Black Myth Wukong.
What about Rebirth?
I didn't play Black Myth Wukong because it wasn't on Xbox. So, and I was hoping for that announcement. And so, I could see how they were better suited, as well. Black Myth Wukong, they would have benefited more from that. They had a huge, probably the biggest selling, I think, in the year. And it would have been a boon for them as a new studio coming in to also win Game of the Year. Sold the most, won Game of the Year, you know what I mean?
It's hard to ignore it because of those reasons. Yep, I get you.
And I just personally don't think games
Keely's
with technical problems should even get on the list. Like, it had a ton of issues that everyone knows about, and it's just on the list. Like, fuck you if you can't release it working properly and everything's sweet. It had memory leaks and everything like that. It's got huge performance problems on every platform. Shouldn't even be there. Sorry,
but
that's
they're
how I feel.
They're a first time developer, so I can see that. But Metaphor to me is just more of a game-ass game that probably should have won. And this is why I think there's this is what I was thinking about this whole thing. There's a huge, and I said that the media and those that sit on the board just don't play games like that. They don't game like a real gamer games. And for the board members, I 100%, fill games, but I think they're all CEOs sitting on that board, people who run companies in gaming who probably don't actually game like game-ass gamers, right? And then they choose the media who then votes on the games. And how many times do we talk about the tax? And I think there's a bit of a third-party tax too, is that all of these media guys, if they are gamers, they grew up on PlayStation. And a lot of them are journalists that came into the industry and maybe gamed a little bit. And I could point out a couple of names who I think that are guilty of this, who learned how to game as opposed to learning how to be journalists, gamers that learn how to be journalists. So I think that there's a big disconnect. Is a lot of that media is they're not hardcore gamers. You know what I mean? I think they're sort of fly-by-nighter gamers. I'm maybe not explaining this properly, but I just think there's a massive disconnect from the media to hardcore gamers, and I don't think there's a lot of hardcore gamers left in the media anymore. And I think that's why we see the voting happen the way that it does. I don't think they're purposely getting together as a cabal and going, let's, PlayStation.
PlayStation. Yes, we'll all vote for it. Yes, we will. But I will add to that, and Big Man Mo made this point. I've said this before in the past. And so actually, I think it was, I forgot who mentioned it first, way back on Twitter. But, and as much as I love the game, Black Myth being there with with a 80 whatever, low meta, not low, but you get what I'm saying. Disqualifies the thought of, oh, well, it's not a 90 rated, blah, 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 so it shouldn't be a Game of the Year nominee, right? Or whatever. No, it didn't hit a 90. Hell, Balatro, I think. Balatro is a 90, so that's there. But Black Myth is under a 90. It's like a 82 or something.
Low, isn't it low 80s? Yeah.
Something like that. 83, something like that. And
Balatro?
and it's still Black Myth.
Oh,
and
sorry.
and it's there as a Game of the Year nominee. And to go to your point too, it's 81, so it's even lower than I thought. And I loved it, mind you, and I think that score is a little lower than what it should have been. But then again, going to your point, Garuda, all the technical issues it had, maybe that's why, right?
A lot, yeah.
Fair enough. I didn't really suffer too much with it, but that's an anecdotal situation, so I can't use that as anything. But that made it as a Game of the Year nominee, the 81. Everything else was 90, whatever. From Balatro to 90, which still shouldn't have been there, whatever. Urge Tree, which is like a 94 or whatever that is. Then you have Metaphor and Astrobot. So like they're kind of all over the place on what qualifies and what doesn't. And I'm going to say this again, and I don't care. I dislike the fact, and this is what I mean by they're all over the place. Before, Forza was denied entry as a Game of the Year nominee. You all remember that, right? Forza 5, Forza Horizon 5.
That's when I lost faith in the Game Awards.
That's when I completely tuned out, and I complained.
Yeah.
I usually don't let me complain about this on Twitter, but I complained about that. I remember that. And their argument was, well, it's not a story-based game. So it's like, Balatro is not a story-based game. It has no narrative whatsoever.
Yes.
And it scored lower than than Forza, and it's still there. So what's the excuse? Well, they have to put one game there as an indie darling. No, they don't have to do anything. So if you're going to do that, why can't you include a game that was well received from fans and critics alike? I think at the time it had set a record as far as engagement, Forza Horizon 5. If I'm not mistaken, I think it set an engagement record. All those things, there is no reason why that shouldn't have been included. I don't want to hear this, well, it's a niche thing. Balatro is super niche. So all the excuses they made that time. Well, it missed the cutoff date. No, it didn't. It still had 10 days before the cutoff.
Forza Horizon 5 is the freaking best racing game of all time.
It's one of the best all time, no question. I probably throw a few other games in there, but it's one of the best.
It's very close, very, very close to being the best of all time. And it was. That's when I lost faith. So in the credibility of the whole system. So, but
yeah. But that said, congrats to Astrobot. I didn't agree that it should have won it, but I'm not mad at it winning either. It's still a great game. I gave it.
Me too. I'm like that as well. I would have been happy for Astro or Metaphor to win.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how I felt kind of about any of those, right? It's like I love Astrobot and I'm happy that it won, but I wouldn't have been upset about any of the others. Even Elden Ring, even though, I know that would have set the world on fire, but they were all very well received, right?
No, I would have been up. I actually would have been pissed off about Elden Ring. I was a little pissed off at the time. When they said Astrobot, I was like, I think I was shouting bullshit. And I was like, bullshit. I'm like, no way. And how much shit did I give Metaphor Refantasio? Because it's not my type of game. I called it trash. I wound up Black Viking for many weeks just to sort of rain on his parade because that's just the kind of guy I am. I'm lovely like that. But like I could see objectively how good that game is. So I was a little bit annoyed. I wouldn't say I'm pissed off. I think Astrobot is a fantastic game. And in any other year or a different year where Metaphor wasn't there, I think it should have won. But in this specific circumstance, I feel like Metaphor was a little bit robbed because of the bias that's in the media. That's how
Final Fantasy, you could probably argue, right? You could probably argue Rebirth.
Yeah.
Super well received too. 92, I think, at Meta. So it's like just 2 points under. A lot of people reviewed that as well. So I know some people were like, oh, well, more have reviewed this. That doesn't matter. What was the score at the end of the day? That's all that matters.
Yeah.
But
for me, that's another one that just ran like trash. It didn't matter what mode you chose. It had terrible performance issues in one mode and then image quality issues in another mode. To me, there was no optimal way to play the game. So even though it's a great game, I'm happy that
now there will be. He's coming to
I know. Hey, don't you worry. That's my number one. That's my number one on the list. It's on sale too, pre-sale.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say, by the way, it's on sale pre-order for $40.
Done.
Get on it. PC Master Race is going to play way better than it does on that PlayStation Pro. Cygnus.
Hell yeah.
Take that.
You need a fucking binoculars to get a decent resolution on that thing on PlayStation.
That blurry mess over there on PlayStation, Cygnus. Yeah, talking about sports. I saw what you said.
Yeah. He said, yeah, but look, this is the thing I would say to him, because he said, Cygnus said, there is a reason why COD, 2K Sports Games, 8 on Game of the Year nominees, Forza is on the same category. Racing is, in general, is just too basic. And there's an argument to be made there, but that particular game, Forza 5, crossed the aisle into a lot of people who didn't play those games, myself being one, and I would have put over 100 hours. I've never checked how much I've got in there, but I've got a lot of hours in Forza. That game stepped into a zeitgeist sort of position. So I don't think you could argue that for Forza 5 specifically.
Just want to put
a lot of people.
History lesson here on Cygnus. See, because our Who brothers don't quite know what they're saying. He says there's a reason why COD, 2K Sports Games ain't on Game of the Year nominees or whatever, right? Forza is one of the same category. Racing in general is just too basic. Velatro is still there, brother. But by the way, Madden NFL 2004 and your Who loving game, Gran Turismo 3, both won Game of the Year. Save it. See, you don't know that because you probably started gaming after the fact. But
if we're talking about basic, have a look at Black Myth Wukong. All it is just a boss rush game. There's not much to that game when you look at it objectively. It's not about how simple or anything it is. It's about, is it a quality-ass game? Is it fun? Is it good in every single way?
Absolutely. And Black Myth is fun for those aspects. But it's not like some super deep narrative. It has a narrative. It's not terrible. It's just not anywhere near like a metaphor or a rebirth.
Which is disappointing, right? Because The Journey to the West is one of the best stories.
Monkey Magic.
Oh man, Monkey Magic's so good.
Yes.
Tripping Tucker. I love that show. If you are Australian, you know Monkey Magic, and it is a Journey to the West story that's absolutely amazing. Blue just dipped out, but we were going to switch to the trailers. So hopefully she'll be back very, very soon. But before we go to the next part of the topic, guys, please hit the like button, share us out. We go live every second Friday, which is today, and the Friday after that we do a pre-record in which we talk about all the topics that we didn't quite get to, and there's going to be a fair bit of that today that I want to talk about, which is the Steam console stuff, but we're already sitting at an hour and 15 minutes, so that is unfortunate. Just to wrap the topic, look, I really think that that Keighley needs to be more transparent about how games make it into the categories, how they're voted on. I think he needs to open that up. And I think when you release a statement completely geared towards saying that we can add this is the rule, we can add a DLC, and then you're like, oh, look, there's a DLC in the Game of the Year, like. Stupid shit like that. Keighley needs to stop. Overall, though, that game show was actually pretty good, and mostly because it's an advertising platform, which they did a really good job of this year. I would give it it's definitely a huge number, which we'll get to at the end. Holly, take it away with the trailers. Sorry.
Yeah, so chat, bear with us. There were 50 announcement trailers, so we're not going to talk about all 50. I am going to start at the top.
2 seconds before you start at the top. Let me just address this real quickly. Cygnus, yes, I know that Phil is part of the committee and he's part of voting for those games. I don't think they may vote, but the committee and the board decides on the media that they bring in. They don't actually vote on the games. And I said as a caveat that most of those guys aren't gamers, they're CEOs, except Phil, he games. He is not the norm. I literally said that around about 10 minutes ago. You can scroll back, check the tape. Holly, take it away.
Okay. So I'm going to try to move through. If you want me to stop at one, or if it's one that I know that we'll probably want to talk about, I'll stop. But otherwise, just that's what I'll do. Starting at the top, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Not already.
She's like, don't blow the load already. We are like, oh yeah.
One Move Away, which I was really tempted for. I really like that. It looked like VR, but I don't think it is. Slay the Spire 2, huge for me. Love Slay the Spire. I'm so excited about that. Dave the Diver in the Jungle, which sounds awesome. Thick as Thieves. This one, can we talk about this one for 3 seconds? Riskit, I don't know if you're going to pull up any of the trailers to
Yeah,
show.
I could. This is the thing.
I think
I
I
can,
missed this one.
but the sound
we
sound
can-
plays up. So,
Oh, okay.
you can't mute it, or
or I can, but at the start of every single video, the sound
It
plays
gets
up,
loud, right?
and then and then you guys normally stop, and it sort of stops the roll of the show. But if you just talk over it, then we can absolutely do that. It's
I
up
mean,
to
you can't just like for me. If I mute it all the way on YouTube, literally mute it, it won't play. anything.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
I didn't see this one. I don't think. I think I missed the beginning. So
This is so cool. I'm really excited for this one. Thick as Thieves. It's stealing sim, but it is multiplayer. So you're like all trying to go in. It's like stealth stealing, but you're also fighting each other for the same thing. Like
it's like a more advanced version of that game where what was the name of that game? We got the bananas and all that, and you have to steal the stuff, and you like fighting each other, almost like a party animals kind of game.
It's kind of like an extraction shooter, or sorry, an extraction thief game.
Yeah, it did look good. I do agree with you.
Really good.
Yeah, it looks fun. Something that could definitely be used for like a game night, right? A community game night or something like that.
Yeah. So we could keep going. Shadow Labyrinth looked really cool. That was that Pac-Man style game.
It did.
So yeah, I missed the start. Yeah.
If you have you all watched Secret Level yet? Anybody?
I've watched 3 of them.
Okay, so episode 6 is where this comes into play, and that derives
Shadow Labyrinth.
Shadow Labyrinth is off of
cool.
Pixel.
Yes, and how cool was that? That like I was watching the Pac-Man one, and I'm like, this is Pac-Man. I'm like, this is weird, right? Like,
that's the
I'm
one.
like, okay, it was cool. I was like, this is cool as shit, but this is weird. It's Pac-Man, and it's got that strange sort of dystopian strange thing happening. And then when they showed the trailer, I was like, because Monad hadn't seen it, I'm like, oh shit, this is Pac-Man. I get this. I know what's happening here. So that was really cool. That was a really cool link up. I was super excited about that. I am super excited because it is side scrolling, sort of, and I feel like it'll be Metroidvania. So for me, I'm super happy. 2025 is looking stacked as fuck. Like this is going to be a huge year.
Oh. Crazy, man.
Yeah,
crazy.
it is.
I might
be
take
shocked if all those
like,
games hit.
Okay. Do you pull up well, I don't know if you want to pull any of these up right away. I was just trying to think ahead of anything that you might want to show. But so
definitely get the heavy hitters lined up, I would say, at the very least.
Steel Paws. I don't really remember too much about that.
Steel
Tales
Paws,
of the Shire.
What's it called?
Steel Paws was a game. Tales of the Shire.
Like PAWS paws, you're saying?
Paws, like kitty paws.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what the hell that is.
Not your kind of paws, Umbra.
I'm thinking paws.
Yeah. Tales of the Shire, which is this Rings game, but it was just a really cute sim game. Like to me, it looked like a fun time, right? But it's just
it's not another Tales game then.
It's just a cute sim game where you garden and then you go in and you cook hobbit meals and stuff like that.
Sounds cool.
Stallcraft Operations. Midnight Murder Club, which seemed super, super cool. And actually, I need to download that beta. It's available today.
Yeah.
Early access starts in
I remember
February.
seeing that before the show. That right
Oh, really?
there.
Midnight Murder Club looked really good. Yeah. Kiora or Kiora. Rematch. Solasta 2. And then was the first major announcement, The Witcher 4.
Yes.
Right. Which I will try to bring up. But I'm having let's talk about this because I'm having technical difficulties. The widget does not work because YouTube updated its terms and policies, but keep going. Look, I watched the start of that trailer. I'm like, I know that sword. When she's sharpening the sword on a rock, and I'm like, I know that sword. That's a Witcher sword. And I was like, no, didn't want to. I'd kind of, when you're like a little too excited and you don't want to, you sort of don't want to let yourself down. So I didn't believe it. I'm like, it's probably. And then as soon as I can't remember exactly what it was that triggered it. I think it was the 2 swords. behind it. I was like, oh, this is a fucking Witcher.
That's what did it for me
I
too.
was shocked. I was shocked they showed anything for The Witcher. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be like 3 years before the game comes out.
At
but
least,
just the
yeah.
fact that they had a trailer put together yet, I thought that was surprising.
I agree. I didn't expect them to have that here for that.
No,
and
that was
it
a
hit me.
surprise.
It registered for me too when I saw both swords. I'm like, oh wait, no, this is Witcher. Like this is The Witcher. I did not expect it to be Ciri, however, but it makes perfect sense.
A lot
that
of
it is
people are
her.
surprised that you're playing as her. Yeah.
Yeah,
And she looked great. Like
she did. Yeah,
she's
did,
been through
yeah.
some stuff, right?
Unfortunately,
By this
you
time.
got some of these, anti-woke
Here we go.
goofies
go.
messing that
big
up
time.
and crying about
Okay.
her looks, like
It's
saying,
an
"Oh, she looks bad."
So it's an 8-minute trailer. I don't know that we want to
That is so long, wasn't it? Like,
sit through that,
what she
considering we
said.
have 36 more to go. So, and
I'm gonna say it.
there were
I hope they get the combat right, because I could not get into The Witcher 3. Yeah, and everybody in the chat can hate on me now, but I tried so hard to get into that game. It's a
It was
clunky
very-
fucking mess.
I
Very
had
clunky.
the same issues. It's very
Yeah.
yeah.
Trying to get
I
on and off
agree.
the horse is so cumbersome. Everything feels so awkward to do. You get animation locked. Like Geralt does a big spin around every time he wants to hit with the sword, and it's like, bruh, just hit with the sword. Get on the horse. Get off the horse. Don't fuck around. Anyway, I hope.
Such a
I
big
wish it the
game
best.
that
Yeah.
adds hours by the time you do
Does.
that every
I
time.
don't know how you have such issues, Garuda. It is
Oh,
nowhere
it's
near that
fucked.
hard for you to get on a horse and move around.
Oh,
It moves
bro,
perfectly
it's.
fine.
But how come he has to do a big backward flip gymnastics fucking double pike before he swings the sword and shit like that? Like, oh man, I love everything about the way the game looks and stuff. I just
The
want it to be.
story is great. The
a
side
skill
content
issue.
is
That's a
good.
skill
All of
issue.
that stuff, yeah. But I
Yeah.
agree with you.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that's a skill issue though, because like I never had those issues combat wise with The Witcher. I'm
Shit.
sorry. I'm telling you, and also when you upgrade and get your stuff even better,
Definitely a skill issue. Yeah,
it's a skill
agreed.
issue. I'm telling you, get your skills up, Garuda. And also,
Well-
like once you upgrade and put in like rend or twirl, it gets ridiculously good.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's all sort of timing, right? Like you've got to get the right timing for it. You've also got to use the right potions. I liked how you had, if you like had a werewolf fight, you go put on Wolfbane or something, and then you come back and you're better. And yeah, you could probably tweak the combat, but I don't think it was terrible, man. It's not at the point where I think
hated it. Even just the character movement, I hated. Hated it.
How did you? You know, you're not alone.
I tried 4
Like,
times
that's the
on 4
funniest part.
different platforms, bro. I tried on a
You're not
PS4.
alone. That's the funniest part. Like,
tried-
there's a lot of people that said
No.
exactly what you said, so you're not
I know.
alone there.
Yeah, just
No, I
It-
agree.
look,
didn't like it.
it is a little bit. It is a little bit sort of. There's a little bit of jank to it, or stuff, but once you get to it, I think once you get into it, then it's good. But I don't know how else you would improve that combat, right? I don't think you
Get
could
rid of
do
the
much
animation
more.
locking. Get rid of the animation locking, and also like just make it more fluid. Like when you want to interact with an object, you shouldn't have to be so perfectly aligned with something. If you want to get
Aligned.
on the horse,
Yeah,
you shouldn't
okay.
have to stand. You shouldn't have to stand directly in the right spot to get on the horse and stuff like that. Like it's just.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I
I
don't
tried
know.
my hardest.
Again,
Honestly,
that
I tried hard.
sounds a
This
bit
year I put
skill
another
issue-y.
10.
Just saying, like
It might
what-
be. It
you
might
want to
be,
jump on
bro.
a horse
Like
from like any direction, but I don't know. If you get behind a horse, you get on the side of it, you're going to get on roach one way or another. But I don't know, man.
just
It don't bother
didn't
me.
feel good to me, man.
It's-
But everyone's different,
Is
I
it a-
guess.
Wait, what did you feel
It's a
about
skill
Red
thing,
Dead
man.
Redemption 2?
Fucking hated it. Like I
Now,
love the
see,
game. I put
see.
like
Okay,
8.
all right. Well, now it's just
Hold up.
for me.
Hold
I
up.
did that
Hold
because
up.
I want to point out before you go. I want
The-
to point out
the
that's
gameplay.
Probably what it is for you is
The
these
gameplay.
Things, it's the gameplay, but it's these things like, for instance, Red Dead Redemption 2 you have to look through drawers and such.
Yeah.
Do
Hate
like
it.
menial things that people feel like, oh, that's not gamey enough, and it makes you feel away, and you hold that against the game. I think
But-
for whatever reason, I noticed that people tend to do that. They do that for this, and they do
But-
for Witcher, and they do that for Red Dead Redemption 2.
That's
It takes
true.
them out of
That's
liking
true.
the game.
But that
Okay,
game was
well-
good enough in every other aspect that I put like 9 days into it. The story was the best story nearly ever told. The visuals are the best visuals you nearly ever seen. The world was amazing. The characters were brilliant. So I pushed through
Great
the shit
game.
gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to move on. All right.
We
I'm
do.
the
We
boss
do.
now. Okay. The next one is another big one. Elden Ring Night Rain.
Yes.
I
Super
was
excited
so
for that.
surprised. I was so shocked at this. Like,
Didn't they say they
happily.
weren't making another Elden Ring?
Well, this isn't really it's not a full game. It's gonna be like a $40 game.
It's like a standalone kind of thing,
It's a
spinoff.
small experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
a
I think
co-op
people are
thing,
going to be
too.
disappointed in what I say. So you guys,
Oh.
how about it?
You don't
It's a
have
co-op.
good taste,
It's a
so.
co-op experience. You could see it when they were playing. I like they added like mobility options and stuff like that. If you look at it for Elden Ring, like how you traverse and move around, that little blue energy eagle thing that flies you around. Like clearly they added a lot of different options.
From that moment, I went, "That's Elden Ring." Like,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
As
Yes.
soon as you saw the blue fire, I was like, "Oh, no way!"
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah.
The castle, I was like, I know this. What is this? I know this. As soon as the opening castle, I was like, I definitely know
Elden
this.
Ring-ish.
Like,
yeah.
yeah. And you can
And-
take the color palette. You can see the sort of, that it's got this sort of white wash, very light, but there's always a little bit of a whitewash pastel-y effect to the artwork. So I was like, yeah, this. And then as soon as I saw that with I'm like, this is Elden Ring, straight up. But my thing was I was like, look, I put 200 hours into Elden Ring, 250, I think. I didn't finish the final boss because and it wasn't because I didn't get to her because I couldn't be bothered. I think I've had enough Elden Ring. So I was like, nah, that was
You're
my
alone.
thing. Like, so
You
I
think
don't
it's
care
gonna
if
be my
so
El-
much cool stuff in this that's not in Elden Ring.
In the base
Like,
game, yeah.
Yeah, like the enemies that are flying on the dragons. Did you notice that one? That one was like really exciting to me.
Look at
See,
this attack
is
right
cool.
there. That
Yeah,
looks
Yeah,
that's
badass.
cool.
That's like
This
the
is-
Meleketh movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But there's one where there's an enemy on top of the dragon who's shooting at you. It just so cool.
I think that's coming up. Let's see. Yeah, they did a lot right with this trailer. It just looks really damn good. It never feels quite like you move this fluid when you play it yourself, though. But it looks good.
And
Yeah.
it's
I noticed
not.
that.
It is multiplayer, but I don't think it's just PvP, which is important because if it was just PvP, I would just be
No,
like,
it's co-op.
See here.
No, it is.
Here it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
That looks badass. That's one thing they do
Yeah.
great and better than I think a lot of other games when it comes to like bigger bosses like that.
Yeah.
The
do it.
scale of
Yeah.
how they handle them is so well done. Typically,
It is.
Yep.
No, it is.
You know
it is.
what?
You do huge bosses with these guys, and it still
Yep.
feels like you're battling that boss. It's not like this like Astrobot. When you fought a big boss, you have to do these specific hits in specific places. They sort of make it feel very fluid. They do. I 100% agree with that. But that's the one thing I was saying about Elden Ring when it first released. I'm like, why is the co-op so closed off?
Yes.
Why can't you just open it up and then everyone play together? Like,
Yep.
That's why I didn't
wrong with
play the
that?
game.
Yep.
This is going to be my Elden Ring. This is going to be my Elden Ring with real co-op where you can play through the whole thing together, which is exactly what I wanted from Elden Ring. I don't want to play it alone. I'm not good enough. I don't have the time or patience or skill to sit there and get my head beat time and time again. I want to play through it with someone and enjoy
True.
the whole
You are
game.
not good enough.
No, I'm definitely not. And I do not have the time to spend on these Souls games, but it looks so cool. So this is going to be my Elden Ring. I'm looking forward to this. I really am. I just hope it's fleshed out enough that there's enough game there and it's not some like weird boss rush type thing.
It will be. FromSoft is really good about, especially
Yeah,
they don't want to
think you
damage
can-
this IP. It's, it's the new
This is
hotness.
what I
Huge.
wanted from Elden Ring, and I'm happy. I'm excited for it.
just to throw it out
Back
there,
at
though,
what-
'cause a lot of people make a much ado about the Elden Rings, like the narrative. I'm sorry, what narrative? Elden
Yes.
Ring, I loved
there's
it.
a narrative. There's
It's
a narrative.
it's barely
there is not.
It's razor
not a-
thin. You have to piece things
Environmental
together.
It's not
storytelling.
true. You just need to don't
Piece
worry
everything
about it. Just
together.
go watch a video that tells you what it is. And it's like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's amazing.
You have to go.
Yeah.
You have to leave the game to like find out what's going on in the game.
Right.
That's
That's
I
fine.
love this. It's not fun.
Alright.
It's not.
See,
Yeah.
people,
Okay.
the From Software fans are just like Holly. They'll give it a pass and say, "Well,
Yeah.
you got all these guys making YouTube videos, a community, and that has nothing to do with the game itself. The game itself,
Exactly.
does not
But
tell
they were
you
able to
anything.
pull all of that stuff out in those videos out of the game, and so good
Yeah,
on them that
gotta
they
piece
did
it
that.
together.
I'll
You
just
got-
go watch
Yeah.
what they did, and I'll be amazed. And I'll be like, "Wow, this story is really good. I'm so happy that they did this for me."
Would you
And
now?
Why
Would you
can't
give
that be
that
in the
leeway
game?
to any other game though?
Why can't it be? Like,
because then it wouldn't be Elden Ring. It would be some
oh my God! Then listen
see
to
the
it. This is
excuses for that?
inferior version of the game.
See,
Yeah.
From Software.
It's all about the art. The art.
the art.
All right.
art.
The story takes away from the art.
A Western
Okay.
game developer.
The
couldn't get away
story
with
takes away from the art. It's
Western-
not part of the art.
that. If
No.
Naughty Dog or somebody did that, they would get destroyed. If
Yeah, because they can't do Elden Ring.
well, yeah, but,
Oh,
but I mean,
Pixel
it's
They can
Slapper
only
in the
do
chat.
story. They can only do
Pixel Slapper in the chat says George Martin has nothing on Terry Pratchett, but that's a different story. Fucking love Terry Pratchett, man. Terry Pratchett is like peak fantasy writing. It is hilarious and it is awesome. And I agree with you, Pixel. You're a
what
legend.
Terry Pratchett,
Look,
written.
Terry Pratchett's written The Color of Magic, The Light Fantastic, the City Watch. He's written a range of books about the Discworld. Amazing and hilarious. Have to read them. They're shorter books. They're not huge, but they're great. They're hilarious. Holly, moving on to the next
We
one.
gotta go
what
on.
have we got?
Yeah, we gotta go on. Final Fantasy coming to PC. Indiana Jones, Catly, which is that entirely AI-driven cat game. Pillars of Eternity. Path of Exile 2.
I was going to say, we
Which
gotta
is
check 'em out.
fantastic.
It's not. I just put POE and
Yeah.
my brain went to Pillars of Eternity.
I'm excited for Pillars. I mean, shit. Path of Exile 2. Now I'm saying it. I'm excited for that too, actually, by the way.
It's out.
Then,
Diablo 2 art design. You can see it, the influence for
only
sure.
if you want to pay for it. Just wait till it's
Yeah,
free and play it in full access.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then we had that amazing untitled game just called Project Robot for now. That was from the makers of Shadows of the Colossus and The Last
Ooh, yeah.
Guardian. That game looked way cool. It
Which game was
showed
it?
What
us
is that?
nothing. It showed
What is it?
nothing, but it
It's
was
from
so
the
cool.
creators of Ico and Shadows of the Colossus.
Oh, yeah. No, that one looks
Yeah,
really
the
good.
guy crawling up the giant mega statue, and then he gets in the head while it's counting
The head
down,
comes
and the head
off,
pops
yeah.
off, and it
Yeah.
That did look
I-
It's
pretty
going to be
good.
a me game.
It's also
what is
made
that?
by legendary creators, by Uedo. So like
Yeah.
he's the one that did the icos and stuff like that. So I think that's going to
And
be pretty
last-
good.
The Last Guardian is a beautiful game too. If you didn't play that, it's
Yeah, well, it's-
really
It is.
fantastic.
That's Japan's studio that PlayStation shut down. So at the beginning of the generation. So
Yeah.
So now they're making
Okay.
something else.
Moving on, the next big one. They had a string of big ones. They should have split this out. This was my biggest critique about the.
Yeah.
It's not perfect.
They should have put
Outer
some
Worlds
towards
2.
the end.
Outer Worlds.
Outer
2.
Worlds 2.
Looks really good. I did not expect. That's another one I did not expect to see here like that, especially for it to be launching next year.
Yeah.
Mm,
Obsidian with 2 games in a year. It's definitely those teams worked very independently and very quickly. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So what do we think about this one being very secretly or sort of quietly?
You know what I
Um,
think? What I think
it's a
is that
PlayStation.
I think that Fable is not ready for next year, and I think that
Mm.
this was closer, and so they said, "Okay, that's it. We're flipping him."
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I think you're
Yeah.
right.
So
Holly has it
So,
right.
do you
Remember,
know-
I keep saying, "Hey, Fable is not landing next year." I keep telling you.
I agree.
that's what I said as well. I've been saying I don't think it's coming. Like I think it had 2025 on the thing. It did say 2025. So if they're gonna delay it, they want to do it off the back of the next show, I think. But they need to have a banger show to delay it. But also this one's coming to PlayStation 5, and they didn't make a big to do about it. It just was at the bottom, had all the platforms on it.
I haven't seen anybody care. The first one was on PlayStation.
Some wine, but it's not the biggest of deals because the first one, like you said, is on PlayStation. So
At this
Yeah.
point, Xbox
Yeah.
is just legs wide open, so who gives a fuck?
Uh,
damn.
That's just how it is, man.
With
Here's
legs
the
wide
kicker.
open.
When they release this, it is probably going to have benefits on the PlayStation Pro that the Xbox won't have. So it will play better on PlayStation. It will be in
You
Game
know where
Pass.
it'll play better?
Yeah.
It'll play better on your PC.
That's right. See?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Holly, join us. Yes.
That's my girl.
Which is also a Microsoft.
That's right.
system.
That's right. That's also an Xbox.
So it will play better
Yep.
on my Xbox. My Xbox just looks a little different than yours.
That's all. You know.
This is an Xbox after all.
That's right.
This is
But the game looks
Holly's
good.
in the war. She's in the mud. She got down in the mud.
That's a good.
Love it.
Yeah, but the game looks good, man. I really liked the first one. I put a lot of hours into it. The
Oh.
DLC, the Peril on Gorgon, was freaking
So
amazing,
good.
man.
So good.
Even the Murder on Eridanos was excellent as well.
Mhm.
But they were just fantastic games. They have far better writing than Bethesda games. They just blow them away in that department with Josh Sawyer sort of heading the writing and scripting of the games. You could tell it wasn't as big a budget because the scope was a lot smaller, but the game was I probably overall actually enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Starfield, and I liked Starfield, but it was a really good experience. And this time around, it looks like they've just expanded everything. They've probably got a bigger budget. They said it was about twice as big in the trailer, in a tongue-in-cheek sort of way. Yeah, you got it. So it just looks like the Outer Worlds on steroids, and that's exactly probably really what we were looking for, isn't it? I think it's going to be great.
100%. It definitely looks
I-
better. Yeah, art
I
style
love
wise,
the
you can
Outer
see its
Worlds.
improvements.
I love it too. Love the
Yeah.
game.
Ugh. I've played
Narrative
it
was-
at least
Oh.
twice all the way through, and now I'm like, ooh, maybe I need to play it a third time now before this
Yeah.
one comes out again. Yeah.
I
That
also,
space is
also
ch-
add in too, as far as the storytelling, I do agree with you typically on that. I think it's not so much as the storytelling as much as the charm that they have in their storytelling with their characters. Obsidian is really good at that aspect. I think if you're talking about grand stories, I think Bethesda does a better design. Like if you
And
look
their
at
companions, Umbra, are so much better than Bethesda's. Like,
yeah, I'll give you that too.
Parvati and the priest guy, all their companions in the Outer Worlds blew Starfields away.
Yes.
They had
No-
so
no
much more
question.
personality.
No question.
Just, I didn't
Yep.
want to be
The whole
anywhere near
story
this.
had more personality.
Yeah,
It did.
it did.
Yep.
It
Yes.
did.
And I go back to the issues I had with Starfield. One of the major ones being the lack of actual action set pieces, where you just, oh, this happened, and then let's zoom into the character face talking to you. It's outdated as hell and stupid. Stop doing that, please, Bethesda. Move
And with
on from
Obsidian
that.
games, you can kill anyone. It doesn't. If they might be the most important person in the whole story, and you can just off them. Like
Yeah,
it's just
that's true.
they have that really good dynamic in their games, and I
Yeah.
think this is just going to amplify it to the next level. It looks to be exactly what I was hoping for, and it's one of my most anticipated games. Yeah.
What would you all say? This or Avowed has you more excited?
This.
Oh, nice.
I reckon Avowed's the B team, and this is the A team.
Oh, wow,
That's-
man.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I don't think
I think
Matt's
Avowed's
working
the
on
B
this
team.
one.
Look, let me quickly just go through a couple of the super chats and shout outs, and then we'll jump on to the next one. So Biff Rinaldi, member for 1 month, did a $2 super chat. He says it's double XP on Black Ops. Just saying, shout out to Biff. Thank you very much for the $2. Spartan661 with a member chat. They don't actually come up on the system that I'm on, so I just luckily caught that one in the chat. So I'll set up a way that I don't miss these, but if I have missed any in the past, apologize. It's just because they're not showing up in the screen that I'm on. Spartan661 with the member chat says R.A. Salvatore is one of the greatest writers for D&D. Shout out to Spartan661. And Spartan661 gifted 5 memberships as well. So you're an absolute legend, guys. Thank you in the chat. You're all absolutely amazing. We'll jump on to the next one. Holly, what do you got for us next?
Yeah. Okay. So sorry, I lost my place in the very long list. All right, next. Ooh, another big one to talk about, for me at least. Split Fiction by Light.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Hell yeah. Somebody still owes me a playthrough if it takes two.
Somebody needs to ask whether
Is that it?
play-
Everyone's like, somebody needs something. right now.
Somebody
Shit, I'm a
stop
lady.
me.
I don't bug, I get bugged.
Oh, look at that. See that? That's that ego with these ladies, y'all. Y'all heard that. No, this game looks phenomenal. And this was one of I was talking with Kay and him earlier. This is like one of his biggest of the show. And for good reason. I mean, they excel in this. I was pointing out that this is their shtick with the whole split screen, 2-player co-op in every game style thing. But this looks like a culmination of all the work they've done before to really give us this crazy over the top AAA kind of game right here. What's your thoughts on that?
Holly, jump to you because you're a big fan.
Yeah, I love his games. I love that guy too. And it's, he did like a short video earlier before the Game Awards where he walked around Hazelight and kind of showed off a little bit of what his staff and stuff like that. And he said in there, right, that he talked about awards that he named the characters after his 2 daughters. So
yeah.
Before anybody, I saw some people trying to claim some BS about this game, and I'm like, shut up. He has 2 girls. Right? He does these for his girls, which I think is great.
I love that.
Like
I
how
love that.
cool, right? Not everybody has an opportunity to play a game that's built for you, right? And so I love that it's in space. It's a totally new setting. And I don't want to say any negative words about his games. The only thing that makes me a little like, it's not hesitant, but just kind of, I do see to me, It Takes Two is still his best one so far. I've noticed a few mechanics just in the trailer that look very similar to the mechanics that were done in It Takes Two. And it's got to be really hard to come up with new stuff. So I don't begrudge anybody to reuse some of those ideas. I just hope there's enough new stuff, right, mixed in that it's not like almost like playing It Takes Two again with another skin on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This game looks like it's on another level budget-wise, though, to anything he's made before, right? Like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think he would get the publishing because EA's the publisher, and it's their his studio was one of the first. I can't remember the name of the project that they do, but Zao was under it. So EA Play Anywhere. The sausage thing was amazing. You
Does
play
the EA
as
original
later on, you
great,
play as
man.
a
Is it originals?
like-
I think you're talking about Risk. Is
Originals, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
originals. Yeah, that's the one. So I think that they've obviously upped his budget because he's done so well. But for me, I love the dude. He's a no bullshit dude. Like he's like, here, we fuck shit up. We don't fuck up. Like just that language, the way he sort of operates. I love his whole persona, just who he is. I think he's great. The bullshit that gets claimed about these games, and we've had it with Witcher and a few of them, just quickly we'll say, because I don't want to talk about it too much, but like, this is where we say grifters. That like, this is a grift when they're going after Witcher, and like, she looks fine. Like she looks fine.
She's
It's
a beautiful
stupid.
girl.
She's a little bit older. You don't know what the timeline is. Someone said earlier as well, I think it was someone who's in the chat now, if you played The Witcher to the end, 3, you know that she gets the option to sort of become a Witcher, and she actually has the strength to do it because she's got old magic in her. So there's people talking about the lore and how this couldn't happen. Then you don't know the fucking lore. Like you don't know it. So
and what do
shut
these
the fuck
guys
up.
want? Like, she's attractive. She's like feminine. I thought that's what they wanted. Like, Jesus,
Yeah, like
what do they want?
what does your wife look like? Like she must be fucking absolutely glamorous.
They don't have one usually. Okay.
Well, they
moving
do.
But
on.
like as
Alright.
soon as we
Pornhub
spot
fucking
the
fiends.
color purple,
They're
we
right
spot the
handed.
color purple in a game, and we're like, yeah, it's work. Like I hate using that word. I'm sick of the word. Like it's purple. Like,
Okay, but
you know,
purple
like,
is a problem.
It is.
I'm not saying it's
Okay,
woke, but it's a problem.
hate it.
Just
some
in
people
general.
don't like the purple stuff. That's cool. That's
I
fine.
love purple. I'm just tired of seeing it in games. All right.
But
So-
this has purple in it, which is where I was going. And so as soon as they saw the purple, they were like, it's purple in this, girls.
They must
Like-
hate Prince, like Purple Rain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's all I wanted to. I didn't want to go into that one thing again because we've been into it many, many times. Like you can see with the games that are being picked on here, and there is a couple of games that you could definitely go after in this one, and we'll probably get to it. Where I was like, oh, dude, they're gonna have a fucking field day with this. But the ones that they're picking, that they're going after early in the show, you could tell they're hunting for clicks, and this is why we call them fucking grifters, because when there is no games being made that you can call like this, they're going to pick on ones that aren't.
Yeah.
So that's how you
I agree.
know that they have no other avenue of like going after. So just ignore those fuckers. Don't let them take your joy away. Joy. God, I shouldn't have used that bloody word. Don't let them
use
take
that
your
word.
happiness
All
away.
So
All right.
next is killing floor 3.
Yeah.
Moving on, I guess.
Yeah.
Steel Hunters. I don't remember. Black Frost, which is the
Steel
long dark
Hunters.
2. Oh,
Sorry, Steel Hunt. I was
Yeah.
muted. Steel Hunters actually looks really damn good. You all saw that when it had like these. It looked like Transformers almost. So they were busting.
Oh
through
yeah,
steel.
it was kind of cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That one looked all right.
yeah, yeah.
I'm a little bit iffy. I'm like, oh yeah, or because most mech games are a bit off, right? And I
True.
feel like that looked mechanically pretty cool, right? I'm 50-50 on that one, but it did look very cool. Yes, I could 100% say that.
Okay.
Well,
Black Frost, the Long Dark 2. It looked really good. That's like that survival game in the winter.
Oh
It
yeah,
was a- yeah.
I
Yes.
can't remember that one. I gotta look
that's
that
a
one
yes.
back up.
Yeah,
Black
that
Frost.
looked
That's a
really
yes
good.
for me.
Borderlands 4. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, lead us on.
It's
Yeah.
Borderlands.
No, it's
There you
more
go.
Borderlands. Yeah, it's Borderlands.
Hey, lead us in the conversation. It's Borderlands.
I love Borderlands, but this trailer, it ain't it. I mean, it's Borderlands, but there was nothing exciting about it.
Yeah, what's new? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the visuals are definitely new. It has a more serious look to it as versus the more stylized cartoon cell shaded look.
no, I think the gameplay's still quite stylized and cell shady looking, but these cutscenes are more realistic. I think
All
when
of
you
it.
see
Hope
when
it's
it's
cell
cell shaded
realistic.
because that is
Yeah.
Borderlands, right? That
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
Borderlands.
Cell shaded is their original style, but if you look at past games, it's a much more cartoony look. This has a much more real look to it, like right?
Yeah.
Which I knew they were
Yeah.
going to go. I had a feeling they were going to go that
That's
direction
fair.
once we saw the mask and the flames. But I would say one thing that I did notice that was odd is the characters you're using, and we haven't seen enough of them, but I didn't see anything that was distinguishable from one from the other that made them stand out. Did you notice that? Ever?
Yeah. I didn't like the way in Borderlands 3 they like nerfed a lot of things. Like they toned down the gore, the blood. Like it wasn't as realistic, and they softened Borderlands 3 a lot, I think. And I just hope they don't do that with this one. Yeah, anyway.
What about you guys? What were your takes, Riskit and Holly?
Meh. I got nothing for Borderlands. It's just not my thing.
It's not a memorable trailer, and that's the sad part. Is Borderlands is one of those series that you do wait for the next game and you do get excited for it because they are really fun. But there's just nothing about this that goes, yeah, that I can't wait to play that. It's just okay. It's Borderlands.
I agree.
I'll see. I was really hoping for something that had a hook, right? Okay.
You thinking of getting it?
Yeah, I'll get it. But
hey, we all got to get it, y'all. It's 4-player co-op, right? I think so. Or is it 3?
I haven't played
Game
hardly
Pass.
any of 3.
I didn't play any of 3, and I owned it. I think I got the game.
Yeah, I own it.
Whatever version, whatever it is.
I just I need to
because they're trash.
I heard it's not good, but
I heard it wasn't.
Okay.
It's not as good as 2.
Yeah, 2 was really good.
Yeah, 2's great. All right.
Borderlands
Tekken 8, it added Clive Rosfeld.
Yeah. Welcome to Tekken, Clive.
Splitgate 2.
That was
Break.
Slow-Mo was one of his favorites. That did look interesting, but I'm not playing that.
Yeah, look, it looked good. It looked good, but we'll see. We'll give it some time.
Break.
Mecha Break looks insanely good. It does look good. I don't know if I'll get all the way into it, but like it looked like bullet hell. And
Was that with the particle effects going everywhere all over the screen? And,
yeah, there's a lot going on. It like bullet hell.
It looked
like
a lot.
Bullet hell game, right?
Yeah, it just looked like a lot for me to deal with visually. I was like, if I didn't have epilepsy before I played that game, I would probably have it afterwards.
This game forced epilepsy on me.
Okay. Virtua Fighter.
Oh yeah.
Weird trailer. Weird trailer.
Yeah,
but
weird.
Like, welcome back.
Yep.
You know?
Welcome back.
Yeah. So it didn't really show a lot, but I was like, fuck yeah, cool. All right, let's go. Because
it is the technical masterpiece of fighters, man. Like you got to be good at that.
Yeah.
Like
The little bit of gameplay that it showed, I won't bring it up because it's the tiniest amount of gameplay. The little bit looked like, oh, that looks super quick. And my complaints with a lot of the fighting games these days is they seem to be slower and more methodical, and then you can also spam shit. And I think Virtual Fighter's got that more of a speed to it. And it had I like the Kung Fu sort of technically sort of stuff. Shout out to Spartan661. Gifted 5 memberships. Guys, if you're in the chat and you receive one of those memberships, please say thank you, appreciate. And I will be getting more content out to fill those memberships because I feel bad that I hadn't been in the past, but now I've got some stuff happening. I'm running out of breath. Holly, what's next?
Project Century by
Yes.
RGG Sega. This
Let
was
me
a
ask
better
you,
one too.
Holly, did you saw that? You guys have all seen Yakuza. Now, this is probably a Yakuza predecessor here. This is like it's 1915. They, people are doing their homework. They're saying that's when the Oni Alliance was formed. That engine, though, did when you first saw this playing and you didn't know what it was yet? Did it make anyone else think that was like Sleeping Dogs 2 or something like that?
I thought it was like Shenmue or something. Shenmue.
Oh, I would have
Shenmue
lost my shit if it was Shenmue. That's one of my favorite
That's
games.
what I thought it was.
I
But
love
like
the
it has such a distinct, different look to it compared to the standard Yakuza games. It looks more dynamic. The world looks better as far as how it's filled in.
Yeah.
Kamurocho looks very blank and stale a little bit, and more sterile the way it's presented in the other Yakuza games. This looks lived in and real right here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I like
it's
this.
beautiful. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I this is not usually typically my type of game, but I thought, this does look. It also has a weird sort of chromatic aberration over it as well, to sort of give it that 1915
It's
sort of
brutal
feel.
too.
Mm-hmm.
I see it. You're right.
Oh yeah,
It's fucking brutal. Like there's
It is
gore,
so good,
like
yeah.
spurting out of arteries and shit. Like it looks good, but it's early. It's very early. Look at it.
Yeah, it's early
very
for
early.
sure. Look at the rain effects and everything. That looks really good. And the
It is.
gore,
It's
like
gonna
you
be
said,
good.
look at that.
Look at that.
Oh,
Ugh.
man. It looks
But
damn
will
good.
this be what I would love it to be feel like a little bit of a Sifu. It's like a lot of people couldn't play Sifu and they said it's too hard. And I'm like, it is hard to get a hold of the combat, but once you get a hold of the combat, it gets really good because it's very skill based. You know what I mean? Every button press means a hit or a block. And if it's that kind of thing, I'll be all in on that. But yeah, that looks really, really good. I'm super hyped for that one.
Yeah,
For
that
sure.
sounds really good.
My favorite colors on them too, by the way, black and red.
Purple.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Next,
Yeah.
Turok Origins. Next.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm
Oh
torn.
my god. You torn? Talk to me. What?
I love Turok. Obviously, like back in the day, like if you're old, like most of us are. Holly, I think you're young. Probably you look young, but it was the game on the N64. Everyone had it at the time.
I have no idea what it is.
Yes,
You don't know what Turok is?
That's fair enough.
Oh damn.
Turok Dinosaur
for
Hunter.
reals?
You were just it's so cool. Like you're this guy essentially from prehistoric times, and dinosaurs are suddenly in your world, and you find guns, and somehow like it's a messed up story, but it was amazing back in the day. But it was a first person shooter with exploration elements and stuff like that, which is really cool.
Yeah, but you were
in.
It was N64 as well. So, but you were you're also Indian, so I think it's American. So sort of
You're like a Native American
so native
guy.
Native American, yeah.
But somehow technology,
you
you had modern guns. You had modern guns for some reason. And anyway, it was super cool, gory, fun. Everyone loved it. It was very popular. But why I'm torn, I have a lot of nostalgia for this, but it's third person and it kind of has that vibe that, look, I don't want to say it, but has the art style that I don't like, that kind of like, I don't want to say Fortnite, Dragon Age, and what was that game that was kind of like a Souls-like that was on Game Pass not long ago? It kind of has that art style.
Liza P.
Little bit of that. No, it was another game that had real floaty combat.
Lords of the Fallen.
Something lock.
Oh,
Lords of the
Flintlock.
Fallen.
Flintlock. It had that kind of art style. That's the way it looked to me. It had that little bit of off art style. And I didn't really like that. I don't like that style. That's just a me thing. But I'm super stoked that the franchise is back. This whole Game Awards had a massive nostalgia hit from a lot of revival of old franchises.
Yeah,
so I'm wishing for the best. But another third person game, like, bro, like that's not Turok. But anyway, we'll see.
Any other
Moving on.
thoughts
What
on
do we
it?
got? What do we got?
I was just going to say
Oh,
this
look,
really
it's
quick about it. It's
you
moving
go.
from first person to third. That doesn't bother me, especially with the visuals looking as good as it is, because they're using Unreal Engine. Also, it is being developed by Saber Interactive to make the developers,
that
of
part.
course.
That part.
That's the major positive, because anything else is whatever. But if you put the wrong team on it, the game's going to be trash. Saber Interactive is a quality team. They're about to turn in something really good with this tour or Origins. So everybody should be excited for that, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a Space Marine 2, guys. Like, holy shit, man, doing Turok. It's going to be good. It's going to be brutal. It'll be gory.
Yeah, but
we know that.
As well?
Better not be the B
also,
team.
Saber Interactive is also the guys who couldn't get their shit together for Star Wars
That
game.
was more the publisher. That was more the publisher, which was the public.
No,
that
was the development studio. It got handed over to Saber Interactive, and they couldn't get their shit together on it, and we're still waiting. Or PlayStation saw it and they weren't happy. Knights of the Old Republic. So there's also a little bit of that. There's good in Saber, and they smashed out Space Marine. There's also bad, so it depends on which team is doing this.
Wait, no, that Knights of the
Okay,
Republic thing. Remember, they
back
came into it at the tail
We
end.
need
Though.
to-
They didn't start that. Remember, it was a different team.
We need to pivot back.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. We still got like 15 to go. Next is Onimusha, Way of the Sword.
Yes. What?
Okay, I'll bring it up.
Listen, we were watching it. I was doing a watch party thing on Discord with the fellas and such, and me and I think it was Pixel Bit G. We both were like, "Is that Onimusha?" And you could see it with the red little orbs going in. All of a sudden, you see him get sucked into his gauntlet, and we were like, "Hell yes!" It's been a long time coming for this to actually go through. I found out talking with the fellas that the original guy that they used for Yamanosuke rather, he passed away in real life, the actual actor. So this is clearly a different protagonist. Looks really damn good. I'm guessing it's the new RE engine. I'm guessing to make it looks like this, but they don't have the stale little, static backgrounds that the past games had. This is very, very dynamic. Clearly, fidelity looks really damn good. The combat looks more serious. Sign me up.
Yeah, look, as far as the engine goes, I think the RE engine is probably on the level of the EdTech. So I think RE and EdTech are the leaders in engines. UE5 maybe somewhere at the very, very bottom. But
Unmod Riskit.
this is look, to be honest, I was kidding about that. This actually looks really, really good. And the combat looks brutal.
There is a samurai game sort of. The samurai games are back in vogue, essentially. If you look how many that were just announced at this show, plus Ghost of Yotei and a bunch of others that have already been announced for 2025. Pardon the pun, but it's going to be the Samurai Showdown next year. It's wild how many they're back.
This is
remember
2026.
Back. Is it? Oh, okay. There's a lot coming of samurai games. So,
well, speaking of, the very next game is the first Berserker Kazan.
Super excited.
Souls trash.
We can't talk about it, but we've played it.
Yeah,
it's
we can't go
in the Insider Hub if anybody wants to go try it.
I'll say this: if you're not ready for a tough fight, don't waste your time. The game is hard. Yeah, it's rewarding.
I don't know how much can we say about it. Look, I really liked it.
That's it.
Looks jank,
but it's not jank. There's a little to it, but there's not a lot I can say about it. I really liked it, and I think if you're into Souls games, it's for you. But it's not as what's the word for it? It's not as technically it's proficient as maybe an Elden Ring. In Elden Ring, every specific button press that you do in it, I'm not going to say anything about Kazan, but in Elden Ring, every specific button press has a reaction, and that reaction is always perfectly timed. So you understand the timing of the reaction, and Elden Ring does that well. Not all games do that well, but yeah, I can't say a whole lot more. I'll just say that. But fantastic.
From the trailers, it has really beautiful cell shading art style. Though.
Yes.
Like I really enjoyed that in the trailers, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
the trailer looks amazing.
Next,
Yeah.
Arid Dungeon Diver. Dying the Beast.
Yeah, that looks
This
cool.
looks really good.
Fuck, that looks cool. Way better than the
It
base
looks
game.
really good.
I've never played any of them, and I own part 1. I still never really played much, but like maybe 10 minutes of it.
It's better than the second one.
Yeah, I got bored. I played a little bit of the first one and just got bored and never worried about going back to another one.
The second one launched with no guns. You had no guns at all. It doesn't have cross-play, so you can't like play with other, friends on
But it
different
does have a
platforms.
co-op.
Yeah, it does, but it has to be only on that platform. But yeah, the game, strangely, it didn't have guns at all until like 6 or 12 months after it launched. It was really weird, but then they've added guns in, and now this new expansion, which is almost like a standalone, but not. It's like a lot more action-based with guns, and it's looks like a lot more fast-paced. It looks awesome. The Beast looks really good, I think.
The Beast looks really good.
It looked okay. Yeah, if there was going to be one I would dive into, it would be that one. But moving on.
Hunt Showdown, Murder Circus. This was the Post Malone variation.
Yeah.
Hunt
Him being in it
Showdown
made me
just came.
disinterested.
It did what?
Him being in it made me disinterested. It was like, okay,
Oh,
like all right, Hunt. Then it's like,
I love Post
okay.
Malone.
I don't like him.
Yeah,
I need you not to like him too, Holly.
Okay, well, it's good to want things. It's good to want things. Hunt Showdown also just came to Game Pass. I would really like to try it.
No, it didn't. I can't find it anywhere.
I thought it did.
No, you go look for it on your PC, Umbra. You won't find it.
Oh,
Okay.
well, I saw it on.
It's on console only.
Okay.
Oh,
I thought it was.
Finally, suck it, PC Master Race, bitches.
Riskit's finally got a win.
I'll be playing that and streaming it constantly.
All right, Squid Game, the Netflix game. Stage of Fright looked really good. I was excited for this. That was the one made by the Overcooked people.
Oh
yeah, the one where hang on.
One.
So is that the one where they? Oh no, I watched a different one that was a similar sort of concept. But yes, the Stage of Fright one did look pretty cool. How they came out into the actual stage and they did the whole thing. I won't bring up the trailer, but yeah, it looked pretty cool. Be interested to see what they do with it.
I don't think I saw that one. I need to look into that one.
Yeah. Oh, the Overcooked guys, except hopefully it's online co-op this time. Game of Thrones King Road.
Looked okay. I'm iffy. I feel like this is going to be one of those ones that like is, hey, you can get this skin and this sword for this much money.
It seems like a little nickel and dime. By the way, is it a mobile? I heard a few people claiming it's a mobile game, or is it an actual game? Because I'm not playing any mobile type game like that.
I mean, that's every PC game that you ever played. But it is, well, wait and see with that one. It looks okay from the trailers, but I'll wait and see because it's a mobile developer and this is their first step. And I think were notorious. This is all off the top of my head and could be completely wrong, but from memory, the thing that disappointed me is that they were a mobile developer that were notorious for nickel and diming people. So everyone's a little bit skeptical, or the people who were following the game were a bit skeptical. So yeah, I'm waiting to see.
If it is mobile, I will say, like, because people were like, "Oh, it looks like a PS3." If it's mobile, then damn, they did a good job, by the way, for mobile. But it is not overly visually and fidelity I guess impressive on these new current consoles, I guess. But the combat looks really fun, though. I would say.
Yeah, they're using UE5, so that's to be expected, I guess.
Hey.
Double Dragon Revive.
Yeah, I'm old.
I caught the back end of this, but I was that should be but I'm typing. But
it's Arc System Works, so it's going to be good.
Excited for it, but I've seen that well before this show, so
right. Okay. Right.
Yeah, I'm excited for it just because I'm pretty sure. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I think it's Arc System Works doing that game, and they have awesome fighting mechanics in their games. So this one could potentially be actually good.
Yeah, it is them doing it. Looks really good. I'm sure it's going to be fun. I like the resurgence, by the way, when it comes to all these old
Mhm,
school
me too.
kind of projects. Yeah, like Dotemu, leading the charge with a lot
Yeah,
of these games
yeah.
coming back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
This is Blast from the Past. Pretty cool for us old guys. So yeah.
Well, it remains to be seen how popular this stuff. Like Turok, Holly doesn't know what it is. Like, you know what I mean? We're like sort of the old men in the room. Is it going to have a hit? We'll see, because this is like old school. One of the games you used to play in the arcade. When you went to the deli for us in Australia, and your dad wanted to get rid of you for 5 minutes, he'd be like, "Here's 20 cents. Go over there, play that, and I'll see you." And then you'd be back and more.
I loved
Anyway.
it. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Solo leveling.
Mm.
Not my jam.
It's more of a mobile style game, but solo leveling itself, as far as the manhwa, which is the Korean manga or anime, it's top tier. I love it. So for that reason, I'll probably give it a chance off Steam.
Okay. Den of Wolves. This looked really good.
Refresh my memory on this one.
Den of
Yeah,
Wolves.
so this is the
Isn't that
guys
also off
who
the
did
movie, too?
Army of Two.
This is the one that said early access 22 ...
Ah.
So
But by the way, though, isn't that based off the movie Den of Wolves?
I don't know if I know.
No.
That was good,
No, it's
by the
not.
way. If you all have not seen that, Den of Wolves, check that out.
Very good movie, yes. 100% agree with that. Yeah, this is the guys who did Army of Two. Do you remember the Army of Two where it was a co-op thing and you would do robberies and stuff? And then if one of you got shot, you could drag them away. Like, it wasn't great, but it was fun for a jam.
It's kind of like a Cyberpunk meets Payday 3 kind of thing, which
That's the vibe I got, yeah.
is perfect for me. It's exactly what I want.
This looks kind of cool.
Yeah, Payday's knocked itself out of the market, really, with not being able to play the bloody thing. So, this might be the new
We love Payday.
sort of...
We have such hard. We still play Payday, the Renegade Realm podcast crew, and it's a fun game. We love it, but getting into a match takes like half an hour or 45 minutes just to get into each other's game and then actually load in. It's horrible.
I gave up.
I haven't played Payday yet, any of them.
Oh man, they're fun when you play with friends.
Yeah, it's going to take you hours to get in, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
that game looks fantastic. I hope it does well.
Yeah, same.
Sonic Racing Cross Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Everborn would have been jumping out of his skin for that. Yeah. And I think we do need a sort of a contender for the Mario Kart. That we've got a few. Crash Racing just came to Game Pass the other day, which I already owned. They're good fun, but they just I don't know. I don't know. There's something none of them hit like Mario Kart hits, so I don't like to see that sort of happen.
They don't.
Okay, Mafia, Old Country.
Yes, indeed. We didn't see, unfortunately, any gameplay aspects or any story elements that we can really discern.
That was strange.
Yeah.
But that setting, oh boy.
Setting is going to be nice.
Especially since it comes out in like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Unreal
Engine 5.
It's probably going to fail because of Unreal. No. I think this is my thing. I was thinking about this. I'm like, cool. I'd like the setting, but think about those weapons that you're using. They're almost like musketeer, right? You're talking about 19. What was this? This is 1912.
Not muskets.
No.
I know they're not muskets. I didn't say they were muskets. I'm saying they're almost. So you're talking about your single shot.
It's a lot of shotguns and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking shotguns. You're talking revolvers. There's
Rifles.
no real machine gun sort of stuff happening in this. I'm sure there'll be a big set piece where they have the.
They had machine guns.
Oh, you can ride horses? Oh, man.
What they call that gun? The Gallant?
Tommy
they might
guns.
have the Gatling.
Tommy gun. Yeah, that's
Tommy
Thompson.
The Tommy gun was not invented in this period.
Not
Tommy
yet.
gun was invented towards World War II.
When is this?
This is World War I type era.
It's like
So
1900
or something like that.
1910.
Or a little before
Yeah.
1910, I guess. Maybe 1908 or something, maybe.
Yeah, this is very early 1900s.
You might have a mission where you go to the Italian government. See that particular weapon? That was a single shot shotgun with that whole S clip hammer
Why
on
is
it.
that a problem, though? I don't think that's a problem. I think it's
Well, it'll be more
Okay.
slower, methodical gunplay. That's not to say that it's bad. I'm just saying that like to be wary that we're going. That's going to be World War I era weapons. You're not going to be having the Tommy guns sort of riding on the side of a 1936 Ford Coupe, spraying bullets everywhere sort of experience. It's going to be a little bit more slow, a little bit more methodical. I think
Well,
people
even-
need to be aware of that. You know,
Yeah.
And
Tommy
Even
gun was
cars won't really be a
1918.
thing.
it was 1916 to be exact, actually. Gray.
1916. Okay.
So, and this is early
Okay.
1900s. I just looked it up to be sure, which we kind of all thought. So it's probably like the setting is probably in 1905 or something like that, 1908. So it's a few years before the Tommy gun actually is created.
Well,
But I'm sure they'll have
again,
workarounds.
Yeah, you could have a mission where you go to where they're developing the Tommy gun, and then they send it over from America, and you've got the first Tommy gun, and whatever. You know what I mean? Like there'll be something,
Yeah.
I'm sure, but just to be aware of the time period, I think everyone sort of needs
It'll
to be aware
definitely
of that
change
because
things
everyone
up a bit.
did that with Battlefield 1, and they were like, "Oh, I don't like these weapons," so I just sort of preparing
Battlefield 1
everyone.
sucked. Okay.
No, it did not suck. You take
yes,
that
it did.
back immediately.
It did. It sucked.
That is
Infinity
no.
Nikki.
Skill
Infinity's
issue.
Nikki is next.
Oh my god.
And then a very, very exciting one that I was really happy and surprised to see, Dispatch, which was the Telltale game.
Oh.
Dispatch looked phenomenal.
Fix your face.
Dispatch
Fix your
looked
face,
phenomenal.
Garuda. You fix your face.
No.
Fix it.
No, I wasn't disrespecting the game. I was actually trying to remember what it looked like.
That's that animated looking game. That actually
Not
was,
anime. Holly would not say she was
right,
excited for it.
yeah, right. My bad. Let me
Riskit.
say-
I'm not
Riskit
hating.
is
I'm not hating.
stepping out for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
All right. No, yeah, it's animated. I should have said, but it looks really good, and they have a crazy good
Well, that's
voice
Telltale.
cast. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
And those guys are
Yeah,
top.
no, I'm definitely not hating on it. I just
Dispatch
can't
is the one
recall
with
it.
Aaron Paul. It was the Aaron
Yeah.
Paul and Lauren Bailey that came out and did that really uncomfortable. Okay, 1 second for this. That was the most, like, at that point in the show, you're like 3.5 hours in. It's gotten slower. The pacing started to dip, before this, right? So you're kind of in the belly of, okay, are we almost done yet? And Aaron Paul comes out, and you're like, oh, okay, like you get excited again. And then they did this whole scripted thing, and you're just like,
You started to bot.
not
You're
Blue.
botting.
Yeah.
Holly, unfortunately.
And just to inform my good brother, Gray, it went into production as far as 1918. It was created in 1916. The Tommy gun. It was created in 1916. First prototypes were completed in 1917, and official production started 4 years later. For instance, 1918 is when it actually sold one or whatever, but 1916 is when it was created.
And it would have been state of the art for anyone to have one of those at that time. Would have been like cutting edge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
is this better? Am I better now?
Yeah, you're good now.
Yes.
Okay.
And of course, that's the
I was just
Chicago
saying-
typewriter, like Spartan said. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. I was just
Sorry.
saying, they did this like 3 minutes of super awkward, totally scripted dialogue. The two of them standing there on stage, and I'm like, I get it, right? They're stars to have up there, but it was so weird and uncomfortable. And you're like, I've been sitting here watching this for how long? Like, can we just move it along? Like, really? I don't know.
Crazy
But-
cast though, right? Like they have Jeffrey Wright in there, excellent actor.
Mhm.
They got, like
Mhm.
you said, my man from Breaking Bad, Aaron. What's his name again? Aaron
Paul.
Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul.
They have our girl who does all pretty much.
Laura Bailey.
Laura Bailey like does all voice acting for women just about in gaming. Like can't get more prolific than that. She's just top tier. Crazy voice cast. I like it, and it looks like they're going to be romanceable like options. I don't know if that's a word, romanceable, but romantic options.
It
I
is
guess.
now.
Right. Yeah, I want to get that fiery demon chick, whatever they had the horns. She looked good. I'm like, all right,
Of course you did.
yeah. She made me horny.
Oh my
sorry.
god!
I'm sorry.
So It's actually from a different studio called Ad Hoc, and it's some of the Telltale developers that worked on The Wolf Among Us and um, Tales from the Borderlands and one of the others. They branched off, after Telltale like imploded,
Mm-hmm.
and I think this is like their first game from
Yeah,
that studio.
yeah, that's for sure. So they did a Wolf Among Us, which was top tier. They
Mhm.
did, like you said, Tales from the Borderland, and they did Walking Dead. So this is part of
Yeah,
that
that's
team.
right.
Yeah, looks to be good. I just wonder how. And I said we talked about this earlier too. How does the gameplay work for this? That's the problem, right?
Well, it's probably like I assume it's probably like a lot of the Telltale ones. Uh Garuda, it's very animated still, but it has like superheroes, it has like this like bat character. It's like a full size, like human size, but it's a bat.
I think now I know what you mean. Yeah,
And
I
you
think I remember
dispatch
this one.
superheroes out to go like you dispatch them
Uh-oh.
out to go answer calls. Botting again?
No, you good.
Okay.
Yeah, you good.
Yeah, you send out like a team to go answer calls or to respond to things, and like there's a lot of comedy in it. It's not like I get the impression it's not super serious. So anyway, I thought it looked really cool. But Telltale, those games were really good, and I can't believe they didn't do better than they did. So I'm
Ugh.
happy to see them back because they're very unique.
No, 100% agree, and I'm actually really excited for this. That comes out later this year, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
Oh, excuse me,
Yep.
next year. I'm sorry. I'm already into 2025 in my
Yeah.
head. That's why we're almost
Yeah.
there. So we got like 2 weeks. So yeah, like I'm excited for this too. I'm with you on that. I think this is going to be good. So it's going to be one of those kind of sleeper things that I think people are going to really appreciate. It seems like it'll be something worth, Xbox getting to put in Game Pass, by the way. Seems episodic, right? I would think.
Maybe. Probably depends on how well it does. But
Yeah.
because that's what Telltale did, right? They started with whole games,
Mhm.
and then they went to that thing where they started to sell chapters, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, it was so boring for me that I had to go get a coffee.
You need to play that slurping noise for yourself now.
Next, Okami sequel.
I'm excited.
I think
for
they made a way bigger deal out of it than what it was worth. I thought I'm happy for it, but the build up was like, what? That's what I thought.
It was, I think the time for it where people were like, "Oh, it's Okami," probably has gone by. It's like, again, we talk about Skull and Bones. It missed that area where it was like, "Oh, I can't wait." It missed that because it came out so well behind Black Flag that it missed that opportunity. This could be that, but I think this has more reverence in the bigger community, especially for Japanese gamers, than that did. And they did Riskit. You might not care for this, so I don't think you'll touch it because your boy Kamiya is the one behind it, his new studio. My man who famously called the gamers roaches and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can fuck off and die, as far as I'm concerned.
There we go.
You mean the head of Platinum? Yeah, he can take. I hope his game takes a big shit dive and the studio closes.
Okay.
I believe
next.
it was insects that he called us all.
Yeah, because we speak English.
Next.
When he posted an English tweet, people responded in English, and he called us insects for he can.
Yep, he's a piece of shit, and most of his games suck.
I still laugh at what Special Nick when he told us about how he did him. He asked for a code, or at least how to activate a code for whatever. And Special Nick had an extra code. And he's like, "Oh, here you go, mate, whatever." I think that's how Special Nick said it. "Here you go, mate." And he was like, "Blocked." I didn't ask you to give me a code or something like that. I was like, "Damn."
Yeah, the guy's a knob. He's a total knob.
He's a bit of a jerk for sure.
Moving on.
2 left.
That game. Yep.
2 left. Crimson Desert, late 2025. Finally got a release date.
Absolutely excited.
Yep.
Yes.
Looks too good to be true, but yeah. Yep.
It does
I-
look too
look-
good to be true, doesn't it? It looks like it's
Yep.
too,
No.
Too much going on. Too much going on in that game.
Yep.
I'll believe it when
No.
I see it.
No, this
What?
I can tell you. I know people who've played this, and said it's pretty on par with what we've seen. So yeah, you'll have to excuse the video if it jams up a little bit. But it's apparently it is as good as we see it here. But it was the people who played it on PC. It was at the not the Game Awards. It was at Gamescom. But the line for it was like ridiculous. You're talking like 5 hours worth of sitting in a line. I wasn't doing that. So yeah.
That's a computer to run this shit.
Oh, I would imagine.
I'm
Yeah,
telling you
it's-
now, you will need a fucking NASA computer to make it look like this.
I would imagine so. The game.
Look
looks
at that!
good.
Look at that CPU! Look how many NPCs are on the screen.
Yeah,
And the
CPU
game is like 5
sure.
different genres in one, and there's so much going on at any one moment. I'm
Yep.
telling you, bro, this is going to
Look at the
melt
particle
hardware.
effects and everything.
Yeah,
It's a lot going on here. So it's going to be CPU heavy for sure. Definitely is GPU heavy. Just look how visually impressive it is.
yeah.
So this is going to be a demanding game for a fact.
is a
But it is a lot of different systems going into it. Like you said,
yes.
flying on
Yes.
dragons, going through portals, jumping deep, flying and teleporting through these different things. Like
Yeah.
it looks
Like-
crazy, but I cannot wait
Look
to
at
play
that.
it.
Man.
Yeah.
Looks
Yeah.
damn good.
There's a lot on
Combat
screen.
looks
There's
crazy
a lot on
good,
screen.
too. Yeah.
It's the best looking game that's probably in development from a technical standpoint, and just from the amount of things you can do. It's probably the most impressive looking game.
Yeah, for sure.
I think-
I would agree. I haven't seen anything that had so much more going on than this, and still looks
To the
that
point
good.
where I'm skeptical. That's how good it looks. You know?
Yeah,
Okay.
Moving
ready?
on.
Last but not least, certainly not least, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet.
the heretic,
Naughty
The hairless prophet.
the heretic.
The hairless prophet. Yeah.
You know, Ollie, you
I'm
wanna go
happy to
first
see
on
my
this?
hairstyle represented.
right, right. Do us proud.
Holly. Yeah, you want to
go
lead
first
this
on
one
Ollie?
out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Naughty Dog. I can't stand Neil Druckmann. So that's the first problem with the game. I
same.
cannot stand Neil Druckmann. Sorry.
Mhm.
Sorry, bro.
No, I
However,
don't-
this game I'm very excited for. I thought this looked super cool. It's right up my alley. I love the protagonist girl. I think she seems super cool, super badass. The thing that, and I really liked the dialogue. I thought it was really good acting between the woman on the TV screen thing that's talking to her, the communicator.
She's from The Sopranos.
The
the wife.
sword.
Yeah.
Oh, Carmela. The sword that she used, how it had that like laser wave thing that popped out.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
I find it really interesting that Naughty Dog is doing a game in space. That doesn't necessarily feel like their strong suit, but that doesn't mean anything. I'm happy to see them trying something totally new.
Mhm.
The only thing besides Druckmann that I felt kind of weird about watching this is the ad placement stuff.
the product placement shit. Oh my god.
3 of them in like a
Mm-hmm.
3-minute trailer, and it's not even, it's like 3 in like the first 30 seconds, right? I was just like, huh,
Yeah.
that's weird.
Sony had to big themselves up at one point, I guess. Why not, right?
That just felt very strange to me. But everything else about it, besides Druckmann,
I think it was
I'm on
to
board
give
for
a.
it.
I think it was to give a hint in the trailer that this was. As soon as they did that, I literally said to Monad because we were at a party, I'm like, this is. I think this is Naughty Dog, and then I was like, no, maybe, yeah.
I thought it was Burlock. I thought it was
I almost-
Burlock.
I
He's
knew it was
supposed to
Naughty
be
Dog.
making a space faring game too.
They said it was Naughty Dog before it started, though.
Oh, did it?
So-
No, I thought it
Yeah,
showed it
they
after the
did.
fact.
Did they?
Um,
I don't think they did. No, I don't
No,
think they did.
No, they did.
Not initially, right? I don't think.
And then it's got him in it too. The actor.
Kanjani, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Kanjani.
I love him. He's super cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just really hope it's good. I
Yeah.
really, really hope
Yeah.
it's
Me
good.
too.
But I am very excited for it.
Do you have
I
any
think
reservations about the main character or anything? Or
I do not. I think she
No.
seems really super cool. I think all of
Yeah.
stuff is super silly. And to the point on the product placement thing, it might be something very specific about that world too. So I'm not trying to like totally poo-poo it yet, right? Like it might be, like the Fifth Element, right? Like how everything was like fake placement because of the world and how
Yeah.
that was dynamic and part of it.
Mm.
There is a
Mhm.
possibility that maybe that is what this
They s-
world
Well,
is. It's just
They,
they capitalized on it and actually real stuff to like
Well,
they
it's
certainly
very.
didn't explain
It could
it,
be. It could be very cyberpunky sort of
right.
product, like corporation sort of driven
Exactly.
type thing. And I sort of have a feeling that it's gonna have that sort of in it. I mean, you look at the ship she's flying and stuff. So I'd be very interested to see what the cities are like. But I do want to see some gameplay of how this sort of operates because they're not really known for their gameplay. And then
Yeah,
it's melee as
especially-
well. So there's
Well, there could
that.
be guns. You just didn't see it.
Yeah.
I think they
Well, it's-
kind of stepped up the expectations of gameplay from them with Last of Us 2, I would think. They did step it up. in
Yeah,
that
it's better.
respect. Yeah.
The interesting thing is they said they've been working on this for 4 years. Now
Mm-hmm.
they were working on
Yeah.
factions at some point, so the studio must have been split at some point.
Good point.
So I don't know. You
This
would
is
think
3
when
years
they
away.
said they've been working on 4 years,
Mm.
like how close is this thing? Is it
I'm thinking
I'd-
2026. That's what I'm
No.
thinking. Yeah.
I
I had
think
somebody say
27.
2020. Somebody said 2028 to me. I'm like, no way this comes out in 2028.
Nah.
Yeah, I think 2026 is the sweet point.
I think
I think 27.
I think the pressure's on them. I know you think 2027 Garuda, but I think the pressure's on them to get it out in 2026 because their last release was 2020, right? So you sort of want 5. I think 2026 is
Yeah,
probably
but-
reasonable to say.
Mhm.
But
That's
like,
6
like
years
Holly
in
said,
development.
they had a game cancelled that was almost finished. They had a lot of time and resources into that. It was a standalone experience. It wasn't an add-on to the original Last of Us game. I think that dismissing how much that put them behind would be a little bit naive. I think because the game was almost ready to release, and Bungie just come and said no good. I think that, and also the other reason why I think it might be 2027 is because being a game that's set in an outer space kind of environment, it would allude to it being a bit more open. And I think even Cuckman himself has said that the game is going to be a little bit more open, which means it's probably going to be larger and have a bit more development time required for it. So I mean, I know that the quality and the what would I say, the production values are going to be second to none and things like that, but The Last of It, for me personally, the trailer did absolutely nothing. It was super boring for me personally. Like, the Last of Us franchise just does nothing for me. So I like Uncharted, Jak and Daxter, Crash Bandicoot. So really the only franchise that I don't like much is The Last of Us from them. They've pushed too much of it down my throat. I'm just not interested. And The Last of Us 2 was just too much, of Druckmann smelling his own farts, and it just put me right off. But that's just the way I see it. I don't mince words. They've put me right off them, and I didn't see anything that sort of excited me. There just wasn't much substance to that trailer. However, the fact that it is in a sort of a futuristic outer space universe environment, it gives me hope that it's going to be something more substantial from a gameplay perspective and exploration and things that they don't have in their previous games. Like The Last of Us and stuff is just very linear, very story based. I think this is going to be a bit more open.
But I have to say I love The Last of Us. I like them both. I really liked the story. I love that sort of I've got 5 kids, so I love that sort of a father figure, sort of son or daughter dynamic. And there was some stuff in that I think you could definitely say Cuckman has huge influence on that doesn't need to be
just a wank
in there. There's a bit of wank, yes.
He's a wank, man.
But also I will say this about it. Like, looking at it, this is our anti-woke people are gonna have a fucking field day with this. And I and as soon as they put on the Pet Shop Boys, they were maybe getting away with it. And then as soon as they put on the Pet Shop Boys, I'm like,
It was
they are
over
gonna have a field
Mate,
day.
they were
Man, when I
asking for
saw
trouble.
her face and her head, I was like, it's over. It's done.
It's over, yeah.
No, as soon
They're-
as I
they're
saw
going
her,
after
I'm
this
like,
game.
she's black Korean. Just to be very factual, she's black and Korean. Her mother is black and Korean. Her father's black, and she's you can see the clear in Korean in her face, by the way. And she's bald headed, and she's not shapely and all that either. She's a more like muscular. Oh, they're done.
Druckmann knew what he was doing, man, and that's why he turned the comments off before it even when he uploaded the video.
Yep.
PlayStation didn't though.
Get this. Her name,
Naughty Dog did, but
her
PlayStation
name is Jordan Amun. Jordan Amun.
Just don't give him any more ammo, Umbra, please. Do not.
Listen, I'm behind the game 100%. I had a bunch of these
Same
incel clowns. I'm not even going to be funny. I was shitting on them. If you all go to my timeline, I was very aggressive. I'm so sick of these people.
I'm sick of them too, bro.
I'm sick of them. And I did this on Colt's timeline, unfortunately, on his thread, but I had to say it because these guys jumped in and you woke idiot. I'm like, nah, not letting you get away with that. And I'm so tired of that discourse on anything shown. It's a woman. Diversity.
Unless it's a Stellar Blade ridiculous
Unless it's that,
exaggeration.
right? That's the only exception.
Stupid.
If they're super sexualized, that's it.
But
that's the only time they'll give an exception.
That's where they push it up. They're like, oh, there's some titties, jiggle physics, and we got some ass, I see some skin. We're loving this. And then anything else, they tried it with Indiana Jones. They're trying it with The Witcher 4. It's like, and so the games where there is some of this stuff happening in it, we don't want to no one then wants to hear it. What they're doing is damaging their cause, man. 100%. And like there is arguments to be made.
Every single thing, everything is something woke or something. If you all had watched the Game Awards on the Game Awards channel, every single thing they showed that showed a woman in it got woke posted. It was like woke. It's like what?
Fucking virgins. They're virgins, bro. That's what they are. They are virgins. They've never touched a woman.
For a fact.
The problem is that the Western development stuff has gone pretty far a certain way on occasion.
It's true.
And but the other problem is that the Eastern development is so extreme in the exact opposite direction.
Yep.
And both damage all normalization of all types of characters. They both damage it, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's part of the problem is that you shouldn't always just point to stuff what they did there. Because now what does that do? That damages characters that look like Ciri in The Witcher. She's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
But that's
they
still
were calling her woke. They were calling her woke throughout the entire trailer. I was so mad because I love.
I can't believe that.
Unless the chick is like tall, blonde hair with her tits literally hanging out and her ass cheeks in your face, like Stellar Blade.
Orbs that are
which don't really exist, right? With the cheeks hanging out, a waist this wide, an ass like that, norks like that. Mate, that's
like that.
Fuck off. Like I don't know what they want. Bro. Like, seriously.
But this is the thing. If you played with The Witcher, like we would had that conversation in I think Donte. Shout out to Donte. I don't think he made it. He's not going to make it today, but it was having a conversation with.
By the way, to our brother Donte.
Elemental. Happy birthday!
Oh, happy birthday, brother!
Yes, happy birthday to him. Absolutely.
That's why he's not here.
Yep.
Because he's out there just getting absolutely hammered. It's not doing the thing, but that's cool. Look. They were saying if you played the game Witcher 3 to the end, at the end there's an option. There's a option to go for Ciri to end up becoming a Witcher. So the game leads into the next game, Ciri being a Witcher. They didn't necessarily have to not be Geralt, but there's also other Witchers in the universe. There's also Ciri's a huge character in that universe. It's a natural progression. There's nothing fucking woke about that in any way, shape, or form. Like,
bro, I think they just watch so much porn that normal women just don't look normal to them anymore. You know what I mean?
Bringing it back.
They're desensitized.
Bringing it back to this game. Like, I love this character. I think and I love diversity in characters too, right? Like not every character needs to be the average cute girl, whatever, right? Like
Yeah.
even if she's not Eve or she's not Fable girl, right?
Mhm.
Like there not every chick should just be this either mildly cute or extremely cute or
Of
whatever,
course.
right? Like there's
Yeah.
all kinds of different and like you don't even know what the game's about. You don't even know how the game is playing. This woman is beautiful in her own way, right? And she's just a badass. That's what she's portraying. She fought that
Mhm.
freaking robot with an electric sword, right? So let's hold on a second before we start screaming all of these things, right? Because
Yeah.
to your point, didn't even matter what she looked like. She has a vajayjay, so therefore it's a problem, right? Like,
Yep.
let's just take a pause and take a minute and be okay with the fact that it's Neil Druckmann, so we have to put a little spin on it. But assuming this was a character design for a reason, right? The
Mhm.
story has a reason. So let's pause a minute and see what happens. Just like South
Yeah.
Night,
Yeah, 100%.
her character model is that for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a story built around the character model. And when you're telling a
Mhm.
story like Indiana Jones, it's the same thing with Indiana Jones. If they had put some schlub in there, right? That's like
Schlub.
300 pounds with like long greasy hair or whatever, you'd be mad because you'd be like, well, that's not Indiana Jones, right? Like, and I know it's an IP, right? And it's got, but it's just the point, right? Like, there's a reason why these characters are done that way. And when you play the game, and if it comes out like trash and it's got all these narratives that you're unhappy with, then make
Mhm.
a case.
Then
But
you could do
from
that.
this, yes, but from this trailer, there's nothing to talk about here except what the game looks like it's going to be.
And that's the thing that I had such a
Period.
problem with, because these idiots on Colt's thread was, oh, it's crap. I'm like, how? And they didn't show us anything except what this world is. We don't know anything about this character. We don't know her. We don't have anything to judge her off of merit wise. All you see is her appearance. So clearly all you're judging her off of is her appearance. And I hate when you talk with these guys and they try to gaslight you as if that's not what it is. I know what
Because
you're
let's
doing.
see your appearance, my dude.
Not even just
Yeah.
that. It's not even just that. Like a lot of these dudes, some of them are. I won't say all of them have a lot of this racial idiocy going on, right? Not all of them. Some of them are just so taken in with this brain rot of anti whatever by the other idiots that they're like, oh, bad, we got to write it off. When instead of actually using their own brains to say and be normal and just say, okay, let's wait and see what you show me. Now, if they showed you something, yeah, look at
Oh my fucking god.
It is. Now I showed another one, Riskit, and see if it'll track.
Garuda. Oh my
That one
gosh.
did. The other one
Garuda.
made me laugh. The other one made me laugh.
Oh, get it off. Get it away.
But you made
It
the
is
man
hilarious.
lose over there.
That is hilarious.
But like these guys, they're
It
judging
should
the
be.
game completely.
Wait, she should be at the back and Druckmann should be at the front.
No, man. Now, hold on. What happened to our Garuda, who was so, brother, no, and all that?
Oh, bro.
Now he's full.
He's
That
a nice
cake guy
one.
got to you. The cake guy got to you. That's
Oh.
what it is. But no, but seriously, like I get tired of that kind of conversation because it just ruined what we have here. And these guys are not real gamers. I would say this. I hope that they have a customization options. I do not like seeing bald-headed women in game. I'm just gonna be honest with you. In anything that does not appeal to me. Ripley is the one exception.
I was just gonna say nobody
knew
cared
you were
when
gonna
Ripley
say it.
shaved her head.
I knew you were gonna say it.
Yes.
That's why I cut you off.
Yes.
Ripley is the one exception where I was like, okay, she's a badass, right? Now this girl is gonna be a badass too. It's clear that's what they're going for. I just think
Well,
her
G.I.
head
Jane.
shape looks like a peanut. It looks weird to me. She has one of those. Some people's heads look better bald than others. I think Ripley looks all right. but this girl has a very specific kind of shape. Look at her head shape; it just looks odd.
She's got a strong jawline. She's got
and she
strong
has a
cheekbones.
strong jawline too, so it just looks odd.
Yeah, and
And
her
if you look at
hairline
her-
starts all the way back here, so it kind of looks a bit
Exactly.
odd. Yeah.
Yeah, and exactly. So if
Yeah, I
you
mean,
look at her
that's
in
what I was saying.
real life
Yo,
images,
Daddy.
look at her real
G.I.
life
Jane.
images with the little short pixie cut. She looks great. She looks spectacular. So I hope they have customization options where you can kind of add hair. I was going to say change hair, but at least give her some hair and to go with that. Because otherwise, she just looks bland outside of the influences from Akira and such with the jacket and all that. And it has a lot of influences from that you can see from anime. I like that.
Oh, big time Akira jacket.
It's
it's
got a very Guardians of the got a bit of a Guardians of the Galaxy sort of feel to it. That sort of
100%
retro techno sort of feel. You know what I mean?
I got
love that retro
Concord
techno stuff.
vibes, bro.
I listen. It's funny
stop
you said that, by the way, because I made this mention earlier. But the whole Guardians, people were like, I don't think it's influenced by Guardians. 100% is influenced by Guardians. The whole spacefaring, music based, and all that. That's Guardians. It's Guardian coded. But this whole thing about Concord, it's funny you said that, Garuda, because I said, did anyone notice? I don't know if it was a mandate by Sony, but you got Barlog rather with his spacefaring game, and then you got Naughty Dog doing it too. That's odd. Then you had Concord, you got Marathon, you have Destiny, all spacefaring games. It seems a little bit, and Fair Games might be that too. I wonder, was there some type of mandate to kind of go space based or something like that? Very odd to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Umbra's they're throwing a bit of shade in the chat there. Maybe you should check. The guy also say that G.I. Jane
sucks. G.I. Jane, I'll give you G.I. Jane. Yeah, but
Demi Moore as well.
Look,
like,
it's hard to not look good if you're buying like that, right? At least back then.
If it's in service of the game, I don't mind. Like if it's like, because I'm never playing even Stellar Blade. I'm never playing a game where I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, I'll kid around in the chat when they were showing the jiggle physics, and I was in the chat like making up a whole bunch of having a laugh. But realistically, I'm not watching. I never play as a chick. If I get the option to choose, I try to play as someone who's more like me, so that I feel I'm sort of in the game. Yeah. But if it's in service of the game, like she shaved her head because of some reason, or there's something to do, or she is just a badass, then I'm cool with that, man. Like,
yeah,
it honestly is fine.
That's a fair point. If it feeds into the narrative, 100% even better. I mean, it doesn't have to have a narrative reason to do it, to be fair. I just think it looks bad, and I think it cuts away from because when you look at a character, you kind of look at what iconography can you grab. She has the jacket, that's one. She has the energy sword, like Holly pointed out, that's two. Her hair is just nothing. It's just bald headed. It's no real. What did I say?
Hair takes a lot of time, and when you're in space and you're doing all of the things, right?
Yeah,
like, it could get in the way. And do you want to burn your hair off or get a weird haircut with that laser sword while you're swinging it and half cut off a ponytail?
Hey, why not?
I get your point, Umbra. There is a thing about hair, and you said like that weird iconography to grab onto, but like hair is a thing to grab onto. What do you just grab onto the head? It'd be weird.
Stop it.
Anyway,
let's stop picking on bald people, or I feel attacked. I'm a bald person, so just leave us out.
I mean, he probably doesn't like you now because, that's why he's not giving you cakes. Because what's he got nothing to grab onto there. It's weird.
There are ears.
Why do you put,
he has ears.
Why do you put me on the bottom? Why do you put me on the bottom?
That guy is a bulky guy. I don't think he's going to be the bottom.
Or you just stick a plunger to it. Shout out to your daddy, Quizzato. That's a great idea. I like
Damn.
Oh, fucking hell.
Extra suction.
I had a fucking plunger stuck to the back of my head.
Oh. Oh, no. You didn't have to simulate that.
Yeah, you did not have to simulate that. No, definitely not.
That dude is so fat now. If I'm the fucking bottom, I'm going to be a pancake, bro.
Look, we do have actually a lot more to go through, but unfortunately we're sort of hitting that mark where we cannot. So there is a few more topics we wanted to get to and we'll have to get to those for the next week's pre-record, which is great because we've got some topics we want to run over there. But it's been an absolutely fantastic show. You guys in the chat have been hilarious as always and awesome. Udani with the plunger, I love that shit. That's put a weird picture in my head. But now when I play the game, Hopefully they add a plunger as like part of the the skins that you can buy.
Yeah.
Should be running around with this plunger flopping about. It'd be awesome. That'd be some cool jiggle physics.
Yo, Donte said, "You ever
But yeah,
get
guys-
that thing oiled down?"
I saw that.
I know what you're talking about, idiot.
It's so good. So good. But yeah, shout out to you guys in the show. You've been absolutely amazing. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe button, share us out, especially for next week's pre-record. But Garuda, great to have you back. Fantastic show. Let the people know where they can find you, what you're up to, how your week's looking.
You can only find me here, and that's the way I like it. I'm very, very hard to find. But, there's lots of games to play. Yeah, not like that. Trust me, I've got 2 kids. One when I was 16. Yeah, look, I'm going to be playing lots of games if I can, and hopefully Indiana Jones, they fix it on PC for me so I can keep playing that, because I was really enjoying that game until everything broke. Like, really, that's why I had such a tantrum, because I was having such a fucking good time with that game. It's a great game, man. So hopefully I can get back to that as soon as possible. I'm really looking for, I think the next game, if I can play that, the next game I want to play is Final Fantasy Rebirth on PC. It's coming out next month. Like, they didn't have much of a time between, like I only had 1 month from when they announced it to when it comes out. So I'm keen for that. Yeah, man. And just getting ready for Christmas. I still haven't finished my Christmas shopping. Fuck my life. And yeah, so thanks for having me. Funny show, great company. Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, it is always a good laugh. It's a bit of and again, shout out to Donte and happy birthday to him, because
yeah, man,
this was an absolutely hilarious show. Holly, another fantastic show. Let the people know where they can find you, what you're up to. Just before you do that, you done a Quezada with the $2 super chat. He says, "I'm from Texas. We have seceding hairlines." Just before that, he said he had a preceding forehead, which I can completely understand how that goes.
At least you fucking got hair, bro. Like, fuck. What the fuck?
His seating one is like a little high tier IQ. I give you that one, yo, Donnie. Nice. Yeah, Texas tried to secede. Yeah, nice.
Secede from the union.
From the union. Yeah, good work.
Holly.
Yes.
Let people know where they can find you and where you be up to.
Yeah. I'll be here getting picked on. And then on Tuesday nights, I'll be on the Renegade Realm podcast, which is on Red Wolf Renegades channel. Thank you very much for the.
Who do you love more between us, Holly? Them or?
And then I'm gonna skip through that, and then I'm gonna tell everybody that there are Call of Duty coins being given away right now on Colt's channel, and I believe Keasante is going to be giving some away from the Gamers Circle on Saturday mornings. So check out for those, and we should have Indiana Jones coin to be giving away very
all those
soon,
indie coins he did, by the way, look badass. By the way,
yeah, with the details is quite different than that we've done.
And Holly, at least when I'm here, you got someone to take the heat off you. Like, at least you're not getting plungers stuck to the back of your fucking head. So, like, I think you're doing okay.
Holly, you've gone into super bot mode. You're botting a little bit.
Awesome.
So try to let the people know. Try to let the people know where they can find you. And yes, the coins, absolutely amazing. I would love to give some of those away. That would be great. Let people know where they can find you.
I just did it all. You didn't.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I thought you did. I'm like, did she say?
Yeah, I did the whole thing. Yeah.
She told us about her real panel that she's on. This is just something she does on the side.
Really
she didn't answer the question.
We're not past that one.
We're not up there. We're here.
Yeah.
All of my children I love in different ways.
That's what people say to those to the children they don't love as much.
That's true. I get that all the time. I get it all the time.
I love all of you in different ways. The favorite over there getting all the cookies while we get nothing.
Yeah, they're like hugging the other kid. They're like, right, you guys are all fantastic.
The other kid trying to come and get hugged. Get him.
We're like that meme with the kid drowning in the background. That's us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we get it. We get it.
Umbra, let the people know where they can find you, what you'll be up to, and shout out to Spartan61, the hugest Blue Number fan we have on the show.
Yeah, he's definitely.
Let people know where they can find
You
you.
are heaping a whole bunch of praise toward her way, Spartan brother. Where's our praise? We feeling left out here.
I feel like a camera being turned on is the first step towards you getting some
Oh,
praise.
you see how y'all?
Oh, got him.
Got me with a nice alley-oop straight to Holly. You see what you did, brother? But nice.
Umbra, that head looks plunger worthy, actually. That's a nice plunger worthy head. That's gonna suck on. That's gonna stick real good, bro. Yeah.
Luckily,
You're gonna get
I
plunged.
don't have a buff bakery man coming after me, so I'm okay.
Hey, the infinite yeah, yeah, the infinite plunger.
Oh Lord. Yeah. So, as far as me, you guys can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky now. Of course, Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite. You'll find me either way. Tuesdays Xbox Factor. Xbox Factor. Tuesdays at 12 Eastern. Thursdays the Fix with myself and Daniel J. McGee. That's at 8 o'clock Eastern. And then of course back here with us on Fridays at 7 Eastern. Right now. And yeah, thank you all in the chat for being here with us, holding us down. All love to the panel, even to those who now treat us as second class to another podcast. Yes, finish him. Fatality. Friendship.
Yes, absolutely fantastic show. We had a really great time. I had a really great time. I can't speak for everyone. I had a really great time this week. It was fantastic to go through all the Game Awards, talk about that, all the new announcements. 2025 is looking massive. 2026, I think, will be fantastic. I think we really are in the golden era of gaming right now. It's looking good. We'll see how the next few years play out. Everyone in the chat, you guys have been fantastic. Good conversations, good plunging. I love it. And don't forget to catch us in the next one and keep your eye on the channel, because I will be dropping content regularly, just doing videos on the side here and there where I can. And we will catch you all next week for the pre-record. We've got some interesting stuff to talk about. Even plunging.
There's plungers in the chat. Fuck.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Umbra knew there were plungers.